Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come.
It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their sixth NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, go to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
Whoa, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this hump day edition. I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, listen, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, listen, if you're not following us on Facebook, what are you doing? For real, what are you doing? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, okay? Click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. And you know what? For a goof, why not? Since you're already on Facebook, go to Shawn and Maya in the morning, our Facebook page as well. Go there, click the like button, all right? And now you're liking the show's page, Shawn and Maya in the morning. Now listen, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Stop playing. Stop playing. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, all right? Click the subscribe button. And now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other 5 live shows, they're all archived there, just like they are on Facebook. Listen, if you're listening to us on there and watching us on the app, more excellenter. That's an old phrase I just made up. And if you haven't downloaded the app, come on, man, get with the Joneses. All right, get with the Joneses. Here's what you do. Wherever you get your apps from, go there. Wherever you get your apps from, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zare, Zemsky, Venture, Macy's, wherever you get your apps from, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, okay? You type in Sports Zone Chicago. You got me? You with me? You heard me? All right, you download it. You take it with you on the go. And not only do you have Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you have our other 5 live shows throughout the week, okay? But you'll have a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council III. All right, big shout out to Clarence Council III. He's my man. Listen, if you're watching, don't forget, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Chi. That's CHI. Okay. Who took Sports Zone Chicago from me? Like, who is going to have Sports Zone Chicago? Like, come on. I have no idea when I did this years ago, and I'm like, who got Sports Zone Chicago? I have no freaking idea. It's crazy. But Nimolo, you know, what are you going to do? 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 All right. Anyway, listen. If you want, as I said, you can tweet the show that way. But if you want to follow me, just me personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Well, here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper, and TikTok. I had to do a TikTok video yesterday from CrossFit Warehouse when I was working out. But all one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you're an IGer and you do it just for the gram, just follow her at Maya_Akai. That's MAYA_AKAI. Oh, man. What a long day yesterday, boy. Let me tell you something. Whew. Let me tell you something. It was one heck of a day. And, you know, I know he's back there working, but our guy Cosme Lozano, he's back there. We're going to bring him out in a little bit. Has he got time for? Hey, let's bring him out for a quick second because I know he's got some stuff he's got to finish back there. Our man who's helping us out here, Cosme Lozano. Cosme, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Shawn. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm hurting, Papa. I'm hurting, man. Went to the Sox game last night, and they decided to. Wow.
Yeah, how about that game?
Wow.
You guys, you chose a great game to go to. Definitely getting your money's worth, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, Dylan
Oh,
Cease was just
lights
doing
out.
that. Dylan, it
Yeah,
was awesome. It was it was I really couldn't. It was interesting to fathom. Like he had six. I knew he wasn't going to go the whole game. I knew that.
yeah,
But to watch, I keep looking up. I'm like, wait a minute, that's 3 and out. Oh, wait a minute, that's another 3 and out.
yeah. No, he was
Whoa,
dealing last night.
one hit, and then I was with my buddy, and well, a whole bunch of us went like from the bars I go to. My buddy's like, "Well, you can cancel the post game show," and I'm like, "Did he have a no hitter?" He's like, "Yeah." At that point, I was like, "Holy cheese!"
Yeah.
So that was a little nutso, man. But it was fun. It was man, real fun. Let me tell you, it was
How was the
long.
crowd? How was the crowd responding to the umpire? Because I know on social media the whole, I think it's Edding was the umpire. Social media is going crazy, like just lighting him up, saying that was like probably like one of the worst scorecards for an ump in like history, maybe like in a
Dude,
long time.
yeah, the ump was a little weird yesterday, and believe me, the fans were not happy. They
Yeah,
the small crowd that was there, it was a very conservative crowd for the week. It's what you expect. You know, you don't expect a lot of people on a Tuesday, but it was house music night, so I'm a big house music guy, and so there were a lot of people. They had house music DJs before the game, so there was a decent crowd.
yeah,
But trust me, they let everybody, they let the umps know his calls, his strike zone yesterday, and I think this whole um the first two games of the series has been very, very questionable. All
yeah.
right,
I know. Yeah, I know. This series has been kind of sketchy.
with
So
Lance Lynn yesterday, 2 days ago, on a 3-2 pitch, literally it had the entire plate. It was in just under the. It had the whole plate. And it was on a. I forgot who the batter was. Was it? It could have been Vlad Jr. But anyway, it came right down the middle, and the runner was stealing. Who was on first, stealing second, and it was a quick boom, boom, boom. And Lance, if you go back to the replay, Lance was like, "Oh my God, that was a strike," because he knew it caught all the plate.
yeah,
So it was frustrating with the umpires yesterday, and I get it. You could point as much as players get mad at the umps, okay, for making mistakes. You make mistakes too. You're players. I know you're getting paid
yeah.
millions of dollars. You
That
make
happens.
mistakes, but it's frustrating when you miss a legitimate strike like that. It extends innings. It puts pressure on your defense. Puts pressure on your pitcher. If it's a call on the corner, okay, I can see that. But when it's
Yeah.
literally catches the whole plate, literally waist high,
Come
that
on.
that
Yeah.
can't be. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
So the fans were not happy yesterday. They just voiced their pleasure. They let him know in no uncertain terms that they were not happy with um, his strike zone.
No,
So
I don't doubt it. I know the South Side. They can get pretty loud. They can get pretty rowdy. They're gonna make their opinions known.
you're darn right. Hey, well, it's good. It's good having you helping us back out, helping us out back there.
Yeah.
And
No, looking forward to today's show.
all righty, buddy. We'll see you a little later. All right. Listen, it was a great game yesterday. But you know what? We have a phenomenal show for you, but we need you to get interactive with us today. Listen, whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it be Facebook, whether it be YouTube, whether it be our app. And man, I can't tell you, ooh, Charlie, I can't tell you the next big news on Wednesday on Friday. But listen, I digress. Wherever you're watching this from, whatever platform you're watching this, Facebook, YouTube, or app, leave a question or comment right there, and we'll get it up on the screen, and we'll talk about it. We see Francisco Holguin from El Paso, Texas. Good morning, Papa. How are you? Cornelius Squalls in the Mickey Ficky house. What up, what up, what up? He's in the house. My man, Armando Emeterio Lara Jr., he is in the house. What's up, Papa? How are you? Good morning. And then Michonne Walls, Mickey man. Michonne Walls in the house. Happy hump day, baby. And you know what? The rest of our usual suspects will be on momentarily. I know they're going to hop in. I know Luis Mejia will be here. I was at the Sox game with him last night. Man, it was Charlie. Was it fun? And see, this is the great part. All right, whatever, like I said, whatever platform you're on, leave a question or comment, and that's what makes this show so great. Is you. All right, your participation, your interaction. Because sometimes we'll go completely off script with one of the questions or comments that you guys say, and we'll talk about it. It doesn't mean I agree with it, but that's the great thing about this country. We all have a right to our opinions. And I love it. I love debating sports with people. I love talking sports with people. It's fun. It's what I've been doing since I was 5 years old. I first started playing baseball, T-ball at Harrison Park on 18th Street on the corner of 18th and Damon. I would talk with my friends. I would talk everything. All right. Mostly baseball at the time, but a little football, a little basketball, and it spawned into this. So, you know what? Leave a question or comment, and let's get this show. Let's get it going, because today's show, I think, is going to be really, really, really another great. It has the potential to be a great show with all the stuff that's going on with the White Sox, with the Cubs, with the Sky, with the Bulls, rumors, with the Bears, information yesterday. So there's a lot going on today, and it's going to be swinging Miss Sierra. My guy Junior, he is a trip. Listen, if you're new to this is Armando, or Junior, as I call him. I've known him as Junior. I've known him since '97, so over 25 years. I've known this guy, and he is the biggest ball buster you'll ever meet, ever. He's just so yeah. I love it. It's great. He's funny. He's witty. And again, this just adds Luis Mejia in the house. What's up, Papa? How you doing? How you holding up? How's G Unit? Let me know. Back to Junior. Yeah, I love the fact that he chimes in. I love the fact this smart ass remark, because it's funny. Junior's one of the funniest guys that I know. He's very sarcastic, very witty, and I'm glad that he's able to support the show and watch it and comment and kind of make put a smile or a laugh on people's faces as well. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your smart ass comments. I know that sounds weird, but yeah. Today, Evan Altman, 10 o'clock from CubsInsider.com. He's going to call in. What's going on with the Cubs? My goodness, they are in a funk right about now. I know you weren't expecting them to contend for the division. I know that. However, it is frustrating. Even though you're quote unquote, you're in a rebuild. Okay, you're 2-8 in your last 10 games. Okay, it's frustrating as Cub fans. I can only imagine. What product are they putting on the field? What direction do they want to go? So we're going to talk to Evan Altman. Okay, today at 10 o'clock and kind of figure this thing out. Evan has a good pulse on this Cubs team, so we're going to talk to him and see what he thinks about this 2022 season, because as a Cub fan, it is frustrating. I know many of my Cub fan friends have checked out. They're like, I'm going to enjoy summertime shy. I ain't going to worry about the Cubs. So we're going to find out from Evan, all right, what literally you can do or what you should do for this team, all right, what he thinks they should go. Yeah, it is. It's gonna be interesting. So make sure. Then 10:30, we're gonna have a little White Sox talk. We have a lot of White Sox talk to dive into, because are they turning around? Are they turning it around finally? Finally? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Okay, we're gonna find out, because this Toronto Blue Jays team that they're playing now is a good team. This is a good team with a potent, a powerful, explosive offense. And Dylan Cease held him yesterday. Dude, he shut him down. Cue up Public Enemy, shut him down. Shut him down yesterday. And it says two things. Or I should say the biggest thing, the most important thing that it says is that Dylan Cease is the real deal. If we didn't already know that, we did. But when you go up against a team like the Toronto Blue Jays with that offense, and you shut them down to one hit over 6 innings, that's some serious stuff because they don't play. These dudes, you got Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette. There's a few guys in that lineup who are more than a few. Who am I kidding? More than a few guys. That's one of the more, I'd say, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Sox, if they're all healthy and hitting on the same page, they might be the top 3 most powerful offenses in baseball. The Yankees are hitting. I mean, hell, they have a 10-game, 8-game lead, 11.5-game lead over Toronto, who's in second place. Okay. The Yankees are 50-18. 50-18. I didn't write it down, but I heard the run differential is like 100 and something, 150-ish, 155-ish. The run differential. That's insane. That's just literally beating the hell out of everybody and making and double dog daring them to say anything back. So it's this team, this Toronto Blue Jays team that we're in, we've taken the first 2 out of. We've won the series to this point. They're good. They're good, and I was really happy with that, with the performance yesterday from the good guys. And we're going to talk more into that at 10:30, 11 o'clock. Bulls talk. We got a lot of rumors. A lot of rumors going on. We have rumors from one guy who's been fairly reliable. Okay, but then it's contradicted by a guy who's in the locker room covering the Bulls on a daily basis. So we're going to talk about those rumors. Those rumors at 11 o'clock, and then at 11:30, the Bears made a big announcement, and we're going to talk about that in the top of the morning segment, as well as in the 11:30 segment. The Bears, you better mark your calendars. All right, you better get your emails out. The schedule has been released for training camp, so we're going to talk about that. Get your days ready, and that'll wrap up the show. That's what we got going on. That is a rundown for you, folks. And I hope you are ready. As our old drunk uncle Hawk Harrelson used to say, sit back, relax, and strap it down, because we got a nice little show ready for you. All right, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
Just when you want it. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
The first Top of the Morning segment, you know what it's got to be. Stop playing. You know. The White Sox, baby. My White Sox. That's what I'm talking about. The White Sox with a huge win yesterday in 12 innings. 12. Whew. Check it out. The White Sox beat the Blue Jays 7-6 in 12 innings. What a barn burner. Dylan Cease, as I talked about, or Dylan. I'm sorry. His name's not Dylan Cease. It's Dylan Cease. He went 6 innings, 1 hit. That powerful offense, unbelievable. Six innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, count them 11. 11 Ks. For a lineup like that, to hold them to 1 hit and 11 strikeouts, I'll tell you what, if Dylan Cease is not in this All-Star game this year, something is terribly, terribly wrong. All right, him and Kopech, well, most likely the way Kopech pitched against big games on national TV, and then the way Dylan Cease is pitching against top teams. Remember, he had a great outing against the Yankees. Now he's had another great outing against the Blue Jays. People better take notice. Dylan Cease, and for the last 2 years, people have said, especially Yasmani, that Dylan Cease has the best stuff on his staff. And it didn't always translate because Dylan Cease had this tendency to have 1 bad inning. He gave up a crooked number, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And it looked bad. But usually after that inning, he would lock him down. And I don't remember who the team was last year he was playing, but he gave up 4 runs in the second inning. I'll never forget this. Just don't remember the team. He gave up 4 runs in the second inning. In the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth inning, 3 innings, 3 up, 3 down each time. He shut him down. So I was talking. I was like, man, if he could only get rid of that bad inning and still lock people down. Well, guess what? His bad innings are few and far between. Okay, and he's continuing to lock people down. He's a power pitcher. He's a strikeout pitcher, and he went to work yesterday against the Blue Jays. Kendall Graveman came in and was it the 10th? In the 10th inning, all right, he gave up a hit and a run, a walk and a K, and then Vince Velasquez, our guy, he got the win. He came in the 11th and the 12th. He gave up a hit. He gave up a run as well, but the good guys were able to save him. Lewis Robert, as you see at the bottom of the screen, Lewis Robert, he was 2 for 5 with a double, his 8th of the season, with 4 RBIs, putting him at 35 for the year. Danny Mendick was 2 for 4, driving in his 15th run. And Willie Harrison. I'm thinking of Willie Harris, all you Sox fans. Josh Harrison, yesterday, he was 2 for 5. Okay, with the game-winning RBI, his 9th of the season. And let me tell you, Josh Harrison has had a couple of good days. What's today? Wednesday? I can't even know my days. Monday and Tuesday, he had some really good days defensively. He caught a pop-up, a bloop pop-up that would not have been caught by the right fielder. He ran out into right field, short right field, toward the foul line. Made a beautiful catch yesterday with the big RBI, the game-winning RBI. Josh Harrison has been, I've been critical of him at times, okay? But let me tell you, this guy is about winning. This guy is literally what the White Sox need right now. He's coming up huge, and I know the numbers overall don't show it, but individually, like yesterday's game, huge, right? In baseball, you have to be ready because there are times like Jose Abreu wasn't up. It wasn't his turn to bat. Tim Anderson wasn't up. It wasn't his turn to bat. Okay? It was Josh Harrison's turn to bat, and he came up with a chance to win the game, and he did. Okay? And he did. Let me tell you something. Those moments add up. Those moments build confidence. Those moments are ones that you're going to rely on late in the season, down the stretch, or in the playoffs, because you've been there before. Because the pressure that you're feeling is something that is not new to you. It is not foreign to you. So if it's not new and you're comfortable with this pressure, guess what? It's easier to perform. So I don't mind these games. And listen, this is a good team. I'm not going to bullshit you. This is a good team. The Toronto team is second in the East, and I told you, New York is running away with it. More power to them. Okay? But Toronto's 38-29. They're 9 games over 500. All right? They're 11 games over 500 before they got to Chicago. Okay? But that's a good team right there. And for us to do this against good teams, for us to come back against good teams, it says a lot about this White Sox team. And a lot that I like. So, you know what? I'm going to keep riding this train. I'm a Sox. If you've watched it, you know darn well I'm a Sox fan. As I said, I was at the game last night. And I'm starting to see some things that I didn't see early in the season. I'm starting to see some resiliency. I'm starting to see some swag, a little bit of attitude, a little bit of a focus that I hadn't seen early on. I didn't see it early. Look, Vernon Fairley's in the house. Hopefully Cueto is the future. Good one, Vernon. Good morning, Papa. How are you? Johnny Cueto. Hopefully he's the future. That's awesome. And no, Vernon, I did not go to CrossFit, but Wednesday's my day off from CrossFit anyway. So it worked out perfectly. It worked out fine. But again, as I was saying about my White Sox, I'm starting to see some stuff that I really wanted to see. I'm starting to see some things that have me thinking that once we start getting people back and we're at full strength, guess what? I think we're going to be a problem. We're going to be a problem. We don't have to face Boston or New York anymore. You know what? The Twins, they do. They got to face them twice. All right, we faced them twice already. The Twins got to face them twice. And now the Boston Red Sox are a different team. When we played them in Boston, we swept them in Boston. Man, we got them. But then they came here and it took 2 out of 3 from us. So, we won the series 4-2. Okay, but they're a different team now. And that's a team that the Twins have to face. And they got to face the Yankees twice. I just told you, they're 50-18. Best team in baseball. All right. The Twins got to face those. Our schedule has gotten it gets a lot easier this part of the season. We had a rough patch in the beginning, especially after the All-Star break. Our schedule gets very, very favorable. Let's just say favorable. I don't want to say easy. Well, the Twins are going to have some issues. They're going to have some tougher opponents. So it's not lost. It was frustrating for a while. I'm not sure it's completely turned around yet, but let me tell you something. By the amount of runs that we've been scoring, the amount of hits, and it's not just the runs. I know the runs are important. Don't get me wrong. The runs are important, very important. But it's the hits. All right, it's the hits that I like. I like people getting involved. I love tagging pitchers, because what happens what happens with that is you start getting hits. Pitchers don't like that. Pitchers do not like that. Pitchers hate when they're giving up 8, 10, 12 hits. All right. That's not something that they're interested in. All right. Yesterday's White Sox, 15 hits yesterday. 15 hits yesterday. All right. The day before, 13 hits. We've got 28 hits in 2 games against Toronto. 28 hits in 2 days. That's what I'm liking to see. That's what I want to see. This shows you that everybody up and down that lineup, because one guy can't have 12 hits in a game. Just not possible. I mean, I guess it is possible, but has never happened before. That means everybody across the board is contributing. And this is the one thing that started last year. And I know we got to go to break, but this is the one thing that started last year. Remember, we brought up a lot of kids last year due to injury. When Lou Bob went out, when Eloy went out, it's like Groundhog's Day. They're out again. I know Lou Bob's still playing. We brought up Andrew Vaughn. We brought up Gavin Sheets. And these guys stepped in and performed admirably, more than admirably, more than most of us would have expected. And it allowed us to run away with the Central. So now these guys are a year older. I know Gavin Sheets is back down in the minors, but he needs at bats every day, and he couldn't get him here. But now you got guys who everyone wants to contribute. All right, Andrew Vaughn. I think he's found a spot in the number 2 hole. I hope to God that whenever he plays, he is in that number 2 hole. And I think that's exactly what Tony's been doing. And I know we've given Tony a lot of shit over the season, last season and a half and season plus. But you got to remember, Tony's been working with an injured roster. What do they have, like 15, 20 games last year of all the players, all our core together? This year, how many games do we have everyone together? Remember, Yohan Moncada was out in the beginning of the season with a strained oblique, so he's part of that core. All right, now Eloy's out. AJ Pollock has been out. Lewis Roberts been out. We were out. There was a small stretch there where our entire starting outfield was out. So yes, Tony's made some bad decisions. Tony's made some questionable lineup. Constructed the lineup questionably a couple times. But what is he working with? What is he working with? You get these guys back and healthy. I think the dust has settled. I think a lot of things have nice and easy. Tim Anderson, number 1. He's in the leadoff spot always. Okay, that's great. I think the way this lineup is constructed now, the top of the order is going to be the same. Tim Anderson, number 1. Andrew Vaughn, number 2. I love Lewis Robert in the 3-hole. I freaking love it. Remember, Jose was struggling for a little bit, so you push him down. So he pushed him at 4. But let me tell you, Jose's going to get back to 30 and 100. And because he started off slow, that means it's going to come in bunches. His home runs, his RBIs, they're going to come in bunches. Okay? And then in the 5 spot, now you have your pick. All right, when Eloy comes back, you can put Eloy. Okay, AJ Pollock. Okay. Yohan Moncada. Okay. So the top 4, I think, should be set. And then, and you're right, Vernon. I did not mention him. All right. Burger time. Jake Berger. He didn't do much last year. This year, he's definitely making up for it. I'll tell you that. He's having one heck of a year. Taking over, filling in for Yohan. Although he hurts us defensively, and he's done that a lot. And it's not always errors. It's not always errors that it doesn't come up on a stat sheet. Okay. But sometimes he'll stay back on a ball that he needs to charge. Okay. Sometimes it'll be indecision. Okay. He's not as good as Yohan defensively. He's not. Yohan has a great understanding of balls he needs to charge, balls he can sit back on, because most of it's depending on who's running. And that can be learned, but you can see there's Jake. Sometimes his athletic ability isn't what Yohan's is. And sometimes he's got to stay back because he's not quick enough to get up to a chopper and get it on the short hop. And that can be costly. Down the stretch, in the playoffs, that could be costly. But I digress. Okay? This White Sox team may be turning it around. And I'll tell you what, I am very, very happy. I said May. I didn't say they were, so don't jump on me. And, people are so quick to this cancel culture bullshit. All right? Listen to what I say. They may be turning it around. They may be turning it around. If they do, I'm happy. I am going to be happy as a pig in slop. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JQuinnReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My feature stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media, who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Irvin. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoinreports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoin.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport. Yeah. It's a romance sport. Yeah, it's a romance sport like that. This one going out.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago in this Hump Day edition. Let me tell you, I was about to say House Music edition, House Music Monday. It was actually House Music Monday and House Music Tuesday yesterday as the White Sox had House Music Night over at Sox Park. And let me tell you, it was awesome. You hear my voice is a little scratchy because, let's just say I had a guy who carried me with some drinky drinks, and my voice is definitely feeling the effects of it today. But you know what? It was a great game. Our guy Cosme was talking about it was a great game to get to watch. What a great game to be at. Dylan Cease striking out 11 over 6. The White Sox coming back in the 9th, coming back in the 10th, and coming back in the dude. What happened in that game yesterday was let me just say it was amazing. It was just out and out amazing yesterday what happened with our White Sox, because it was they scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th to tie it. They needed it. Okay. Then in the 10th, Toronto. You know what? Let's talk more about that during the White Sox segment. Let's get to some other stuff. All right. The next top of the morning topic, we'll keep it a little with the White Sox. Tim Anderson. All right, Tim Anderson is second in the All-Star voting for shortstops. He's behind the Blue Jays' Bo Bichette, who you're watching playing yesterday, and he's a sizable. There's a sizable difference. We got to start voting for Tim. Although Bo Bichette, the son of former Colorado Rockies Dante Bichette, who's a stud. He's got that little mullet going, the party business in the front, party in the back. You see his big long hair. This guy's athletic. This guy's explosive. One hell of a shortstop, and right now he's leading in All-Star voting. Liam Hendricks is still eyeing a July 1st return, so we're talking next week sometime. And I'm like, we'll see. Take your time, Papa. Take your time. We'll figure it out. Eloy Jimenez is about to restart his rehab assignment in Charlotte, and let's go. Let's hope. I'm hoping his hamstring responds well. Remember, even though it wasn't a setback, they had to stop his rehab assignment and start it over again. But it wasn't a setback, according to Rick Hahn. In my definition, that's the definition of a reset. But that's okay. That's of a setback. But who knows? Who cares? Then Yasmani Grandal is about to start up. He's about to ramp up his baseball activity, so he should be back shortly from a jacked up back. So, but moving on, the next top of the morning topic, the Cubs. The Cubs fall to the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday, 7-1. Swarmer, he gets the loss. He's 1-3 on the season. He went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 2 walks, 5 punch-outs. Patrick Wisdom was 2 for 3 with his 14th double and his 13th homer, driving in his 32nd RBI of the year. And remember, at the top of the hour, we have Evan Altman from CubsInsider.com who's going to join us, talk about this Cubs team, which is in a state of disarray right now. They're in a state of disarray. You have, I'd say you have one star on your team. I'd say we have one star. His name is Wilson Contreras. And you don't even like him. You don't even like this dude. Like how, it had to go to the 11th hour. As was a guy, one of the landscapers decided to come by my window as we're talking. They decided to go to the 11th hour because of arbitration, because Wilson was asking for $1.25 million more than the Cubs were willing to offer. And the Cubs stood fast. They're like, no. They stood firm. They're like, no, we'll go to arbitration. We'll go to arbitration. And then right before the arbitration meeting, they said, well, how about we meet in the middle? It was like, how about $675,000 it will increase as opposed to 1.25. And he took it, which is cool. But if this is your only star, if this is the guy that you say you want around, why not give him the 1.2? What's 1.2 million to you guys? What is 1.2 million to the baseball, to the Ricketts family, to the Cubs organization, to keep your guy happy, your only star that you have? Oh, and by the way, he's leading the National League catchers in All-Star voting as well. And I get it. It's a popularity contest, but you're not going to vote for someone if they're not doing good. If they haven't been good. Okay? I said, because even though it's a popularity contest, you have to play well for people to like you. You do. You can't be batting 130 and people are going to vote you in the lead for the All-Star game. It's not happening. You have to perform. You know? And usually there are escalator clauses, bonuses to make it an All-Star team, bonuses to make it if you start an All-Star game. All right, there's all kinds of bonuses that players can achieve or attain over a season. And Contreras just keeps going to work. All right, with the half-assed bullshit offer they gave him. Okay, we'll meet you halfway. He's like, all right, fine. Over 600,000, almost 700,000 is okay. We could do that. we can do that. But it just goes to show why they won't bend over backwards for the people that they care about or claim that they care about. And listen, even if you don't care about them and you're trying to trade them, which there have been many rumors about, give them 1.2 anyway. Because once you trade him, he's off your books. He's somebody else's problem. Which is exactly why I'm like, man, dude, you don't like this guy? If you like him, he's a star, and you want him to stay around, then what are you bitching about 1.2 million extra for? Why are you bitching about it? Why are you complaining? Why did it have to go almost to arbitration? Why did you only offer him half or meet in the middle if you like this guy? If you are trying to trade him, why did you not give him the 1.2? It's coming off your books. Why did you only give it to him, meet him halfway? The Ricketts family they've been a little shady. They've been shady with some people. Okay? And trust me, it's not my money, so I can say what I want, and I'm not trying to get in anybody's pockets. I'm just trying to point out that if you care about somebody, you show them your appreciation. Okay, this guy's he's a World Series champ with you guys. He's a good guy in the locker room, in the clubhouse for your team. He's obviously productive. He's leading catchers in voting in the All-Star voting. There's a lot of great things about Wilson Contreras. And you want to argue for 1.2? Something's not right there. Something's not right. I don't know. Call me crazy. Moving on. The next top of the morning topic, the Sky. The Chicago Sky. Man, they erase the largest deficit in WNBA history. The Sky, they erased a 28-point deficit, and they go on to beat the Las Vegas Aces 104-95. Courtney Vandersloot leads the way with 25 points, 8 assists. Candace Parker, Chicagoland's very own Candace Parker, 17 points, 10 boards. Mieseman, she dropped in 17 points, 6 boards, and 6 assists. And Annie Quigley, 13 points, 7 assists as well. This team, let me say something. This team might just be ramping up for and starting to really truly get into a groove. Okay, they might truly start to get in their groove, and that's dangerous for the rest of the WNBA. And I know they lost the last game right before this, but it was close. Or was that the Fever game that they won? But this team is it's cohesive. All right, they're champions. The resiliency of a champion can never be understated. And this is a team I got to go. I have to make a point to go see because I'm starting to like what I see from this team. I really am. And it's going to be fun watching them defend their WNBA title. It really is. You know, Candace Parker, she's not as young as she was. She's not as explosive as she was, but she's a veteran. She's a three-time champion. Okay, did she win twice with the Sparks? I have to double check, but we know she won last year with us. She brought it home. WNBA champion, WNBA All-Star. This girl knows how to ball. This girl knows how to win. And that's one of the most important things. Can you win? All right, when it's all said and done, when the game is on the line, can you get it done? And she does. Time in, time out. She gets it done. So this is definitely a team that you're going to want to follow. If you haven't followed, just start. And here's the bad part about this. This really bothered me. Now the Sky are on the Marquee Network. Their home games are on the Marquee Network. Who the hell watches the Marquee Network if you're not a Cub fan? I damn sure ain't. Listen, that is the worst move for the Sky. That is the worst move for the Sky. You are losing fans. I'm telling you, Sox fans damn sure ain't going to buy the Marquee Network to see you. Nope. And all Cub fans don't have the Marquee Network. So you don't have all Cub fans with the Marquee Network so they can't see you. Sox fans damn sure ain't buying the Marquee Network to see you. Now you're relying on your Sky fans to buy the Marquee Network to see you. Now, if it was your own, which wouldn't happen, it's just financially not viable for them to do that. But just saying, hypothetically, if it was your own channel, fine. Why didn't you work out a deal with NBC Sports Chicago? That would have gotten you more fans. And I'm not saying you didn't work it out or you didn't try. It's obviously a rhetorical question. But hooking up with NBC Sports Chicago makes a lot more sense. Especially now. We're in the dead period. The only team that's on NBC Sports Chicago now is the White Sox. And if you're playing and all your games are in the evening, and they put you on NBC Sports Chicago Plus. But you're on NBC Sports Chicago and everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. So the Sky going to the Marquee Network was dumb. That was a bad, bad move. Now, financially, who knows what the deals were financially to get them over there? You better hope that whatever little bit of money they gave you to go there covers the cost of all the fans that you've lost. All the fans that are in the dark. NBC Sports Chicago would have been the best situation for you. So why that deal couldn't get done, I have no idea. But I'll tell you what, you would have got a lot more people watching on NBC Sports Chicago because everybody gets it. It doesn't matter if you're a Cub or Sox fan. But I'll tell you what, Sox fans are definitely not going to get the Marquee Network to watch the Sky. You live and you learn. Ni modo, eh? I don't know what to tell you. The Bears. I always got to talk Bears for a little bit. The Chicago Bears, they release. I'm fired up. Where did it go? I thought I put it in there, you sons of biscuits. Oh, I did. Wrong spot. Chicago Bears released their training camp schedule for this season, and there are 11. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 practices that are open to the public. So get your calendars out. Mark these days. Now you have to send an email to get tickets. They're free. The tickets are free. That you just need an email because what they're doing is they're controlling the number of people who are going to be at camp. Parking, if you've never been to Hallis Hall, there's no parking at Hallis Hall. You have to park a few minutes away at the Hawthorne Mall, I want to say. And then they shuttle you over back and forth. They shuttle you back. So you see the 28th, 29th, and 30th, those open practices of July. August 2nd, August 2nd, 3rd, and 5th, those are open practices. The 7th on a Sunday is an open practice. And then Family Fest, that's the 9th. That's a Tuesday. The 9th at Soldier Field. Those are always fun. Those are always really, really, really fun. I don't know how much they're going to charge now. They usually charge $5, but because of the whole pandemic thing, everything's more expensive. They might charge 10. Still not bad. $10 to get in to see the Bears practice. The 10th, the 11th, open. Then the 13th, you see they have the preseason game against the Kansas City Chiefs and the former Chicago Bears head coach, who will remain nameless. The 15th is another open practice, followed by a game on the 18th. They are in Seattle for that one. Then the 20th is the last open practice for the Bears this season. So guys, get your calendars out. Make sure if you want to go see them practice, you get to one of those days. All right, 11 days. So I'm excited about it. A sense of energy runs through my body when I talk about the Bears. And now, now that they released the schedule, got me even a little more excited. It's just the preseason schedule or the training camp schedule and then open practice. It's gotten me excited. It's got me really, really excited. I told you my thoughts on the Bears. I told you I think that they're going to do much better than people think. This coaching staff seems to be very competent, and trust me, everything they're doing now is great. Everything they're doing now is what you want to do to build a good franchise, a good team, the culture, the environment, the team building, the team bonding that they've done. They've gone to Wrigley Field. They've gone a day out in the city. They've gone to Sears Tower. Yes, I still call it Sears Tower. They're doing a lot of good stuff with team, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you got to win on the football field. You have to win on the football field. That's what it comes down to. And I can't guarantee that they're going to win 12, 13, 14 games, but I'll tell you this, they're doing everything the correct way. They're putting their players on a path to be successful. Because if you don't think team building and team bonding is important, you've never played sports. I'll tell you that right now. You've never played sports. You might not even have a job. Because even at your job, that's your team. There's times where you have to work together on a project. And the fact that if you like someone on your team, in your job that you work with, the project goes a lot smoother. You guys will go above and beyond because you care and you like the person that you're working with. And if you don't, well, then the project will probably still get done. It's just not done with as much, cariño, to say for Spanish, kind of not as much empathy, passion, or something. I'm not sure how to translate that to English. It's just not, it won't be the same. It'll get done. It'll probably be functional, but it just won't be the same. So what they're doing is good. But when the dust settles, we got to see what they're doing, how they play on the field. And that's what it's all going to come down to. How do they play on the field? Are they going to be disciplined? Are they going to be smart? Are they going to be aggressive? Are they going to be forcing takeaways? Are they going to be attacking on offense? I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But everything leading up to that point has been great, in my estimation. Has been great. So I'm looking forward to it. I know you're looking forward to it. The sun can't set any faster to get us there. Nor do I want it to. Let's enjoy it. Let's stop hoping and trying to jump forward. Guys, life is short, man. Let's enjoy summertime shot. Chicagoans, you know how fast that thing moves? You know how fast the summertime shy moves? So enjoy it. Bears season will be here. Okay, Bears season will be here. And then let me give you the last bit of news before we got to go to break because my guy Evan Altman's coming on talking about this Cubs situation going up on the north side. Bears guard Dakota Dozier is out for the season with a knee injury. He was one of the guys that was going to vie for the starting right guard position. Remember, he got carted off in OTAs last week, I think it was. And unfortunately for him, he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Maybe now you see why Ryan Poles has signed 46 linemen and hoping one or two stick. Oh man, if I don't laugh about it, dude, I'm gonna cry. But anyway, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're gonna go back, talk some Cubs with my man Evan Altman. He of the Wu-Tang tribe. I think he's the 11th member of the Wu-Tang, I think, or honorary member. I'm not sure. But anyway, my guy Evan Altman from CubsInsider.com coming up next. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport. Yeah. It's a romance sport. Yeah, it's a romance sport like that. This one going out.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. Could I just say like a House Music Wednesday? Because we had House Music Monday. You know, House Music Monday is a staple here on Shawn and Maya in the morning. And then yesterday, because the White Sox had a huge win yesterday at House Music Night at Sox Park, I think it's just kind of fitting to just keep it House Music Wednesday. I don't know. I'll talk to the bosses and see what they say. But switching sides of town, my next guest is a good friend of the program. He's been rocking with us for years. Actually had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times. One where he had the beard going, and other times he didn't. And it's good stuff. He's the editor-in-chief of CubsInsider.com. You can find him on Twitter at @DEvanAltman. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Evan Altman. Evan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Man, it's not a good time to be somebody covering the Cubs. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen better teams in my life. So, but hey, you take the good with the bad. Maybe this means we'll appreciate it more when they're winning again. Who knows?
You know, you're right. You had a 100-loss season back in, was it 13, 14, something like that?
12 was bad.
12. And, and within 4 years, you're hoisting the World Series trophy. So maybe this could be a similar situation. You have talent. You have a lot of people. You need more talent. Don't get me wrong. But it's easier when you're at rock bottom to say, okay, now we're at rock bottom. Let's build. But the Cubs don't want to say that they're rebuilding. The Cubs don't want to say that they're at rock bottom, and they have a couple of pieces that show you they may not be at rock bottom. You still got Jay Hayden. I know he's not good, but you still got Ian Happ. You still got Wilson Contreras. What exactly are they doing? Because I still think it's a rebuild now, but they don't want us. It's not a rebuild. So, what your thoughts, man? Because this looks like and if it's not a rebuild, you better do something. You better get rid of people because to have this type of record and not be a rebuild per se is not going over well with Cub fans.
Yeah, and Jed Hoyer said, he doesn't want to call it a rebuild, whatever. But I think that's just, I don't know if that's he's kidding himself or what, because you mentioned a lot of those guys, and it's entirely possible that one or more of them are going to be gone by the August 2nd trade deadline, right? Wilson Contreras hasn't been extended. He's leading all NL catchers in all-star votes. He's leading all catchers in home runs. He's having the best season of his career, part of which is because they're using him as a DH a lot, which was the plan. But his value is through the roof, and we saw last year, if they haven't extended these guys, they're going to be moved. Ian Happ having the best season of his career. He's only got 1 year left. Do they try to extend him? Because if not, you're running back into the same situation next year. Could Kyle Hendricks be on the move? You've got a lot of guys out of the bullpen. I mean, this thing, as hard as this is to believe, it's entirely possible it gets worse before it gets better. And the issue that I've got there is that whatever you want to call it, rebuild, retool, if you get rid of these guys, there's not enough players that are going to come up right out of the minors and take over for them, right? And you're going to have to spend. Jed Hoyer said the money will be there when the time is right, but you're not just looking to add a couple of veterans and key pieces. You've got to now replace these guys who are all-stars, these guys who are putting up the best seasons. So it's not just adding to a core that you have, it's recreating an entire core. That is, by definition, a rebuild. You are setting up a whole new team. So by August 2nd, we're going to know for sure what this timeline looks like a little more accurately.
Dude, apparently the Chicago baseball general managers have gone to the same school because Rick Hahn on the south side with Eloy Jimenez, who had a hamstring injury, his rehab was stopped. It said due to soreness, and they're like, "Well, we stopped his rehab. It's not a setback, but we had to stop it, and then we're going to restart it again." I'm like, isn't that the definition of a setback? But maybe my college degree isn't worth what it costs.
It's definitely not a super back. It may be. It may not be a setback. It's not. It's something. But I love how general managers. Again, it's not this word. It's this other word that means the exact same thing, but sounds a little bit different. So we'll try to. And it's like. Maybe let's try to dress this up a little bit more because it's difficult, man. And nobody at this point, it's really tough to sell to the fans, right? That's the problem because if you lose the fans, then that's the tough part is trying to gain that trust back, right? Because that takes longer. You can go get new players, right? You can start, but until you really see it play out, and that's where the Cubs are really in a tough spot right now, because as I just mentioned, this year's really rough, right? They've tied cement shoes, or they've put on cement shoes and jumped into Lake Michigan, and they're sinking like a rock, and there's no sign that it's necessarily going to get that much better, if anything, next year. And that's really, really tough to try to tell people again for the second time in 10 years. To wait on it and hey, just let it all play out and it'll be fine. It's like, they don't do that in Boston. They don't do that in New York. They don't do that in Los Angeles. Why do we have to do it? Look, we can look around and see. The Red Sox stink for a year. They come back, they win a World Series. They stink for a year. They come back, they win a division. We're not seeing that right now. So whatever Jed Hoyer is going to call it, he better hope it works.
Guys, we're joined by Evan Altman from CubsInsider.com talking Cubs baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. And you said something, because I was going to pose a question to you, but you said something that is so true. Because my question was, look, if you just came back and said, hey, listen, we're gonna do another rebuild, we're gonna do this, blah 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 blah. The Cub fans were okay with it back in 13 and 14. They're like, okay, here's what, and then you start seeing pieces being added. Like, okay, this guy in a couple of years, this guy in a couple of years. We got Chris Bryant. They just traded for Rizzo. We got a whole bunch of guys coming back over. Okay, we see it. But then you just said something like the Yankees don't do that. I'll say the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. Those are big market teams. Why do you think that this Cubs organization, and this isn't the first time this, the ownership has done it, why do you think that they don't act like a big market team when we're in the third largest market in the country?
Yeah, there's so many different ways we can look at this, and unless they're going to share their actual financials with us, which we know is never going to happen, I think that the timing of everything, we can argue about whether and how much they should be spending, and I'm fully in agreement that the Cubs should be among the top 5 payrolls of baseball every single year because of where they are. But if you do look at what those teams have, whether it's the Yankees with Yes Network, the Red Sox with Nesson, the Dodgers have Sportsnet LA, all 3 of those teams are making significantly more money off those TV deals than what the Cubs were able to swing with Marquee. And the Cubs are half owners of Marquee. They had to foot the bill to get that thing up and running, and they completely missed the window before the cable TV bubble burst. And so if you look at a team like the Dodgers getting whatever it is, $2.8 billion over however many years, they're pulling in a couple $100 million a year just on their TV contract. That's it. Take out tickets, take out parking, any of that. They can operate their team just on the TV revenue alone. The Cubs do not have that. And the cushion that they said was going to be there is not. Now, again, we could look at it and say, well, yeah, they're building this new sports book right outside of Wrigley Field and somehow managing to maintain historical landmark status.
Oh,
Go figure.
It's done. I don't think it's Soldier Field. Sorry, that's Soldier Field.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Either way, but hey, it's Chicago, right? If you know the right people, you can get things done however you want. But when you have the Ricketts family as part of a $4 billion bid potentially to buy a European soccer club, and you're seeing these buildings go up around the ballpark, and yet they're operating with a mid-level payroll, it's really difficult. So if they get back there, maybe some things will be forgiven. But the fact that they can't maintain that, and that was really what everybody was promised, and that's what got sold. That's why people were patient back in 12, 13, 14 when they went through those losing seasons, because they were told, we're going to get this club to a place where they're consistently competitive. We're not going to win a World Series every year, but we're going to be competitive every year, just like those other top markets. And now it's, again, 10 years later, it's a repeat all over again of where now you're trying to shoot for a top draft pick rather than top of the division. And that is a problem.
That's a huge problem. And you know what? They have they have one star, I believe, left on this team. And I believe that, in my opinion, that's Wilson Contreras. They don't even like him. They don't even like him. It shows, it boggles my mind. Talk to me about why do you think they were adamant about the not giving him 1.2. And no, we'll go to arbitration. Then at the 11th hour, they're like, well, just meet me in the middle. When it really doesn't even matter because if you look at it in the big picture, if this is a guy that you want to stay and you want him around because of his presence in the clubhouse, because of the way he performs on the field, because he's a leader, because of all these things, why not give him 1 point? What's 1.2 in the baseball term? That's really not a lot of money. Okay. And if you don't want him, okay, why not give him the 1.2? Because when you trade him, guess what? It comes off your books anyway. To whoever's picking him up. So why do you think they're being so adamant about not giving him the 1.2 and then only meeting him halfway right before the arbitration hearing?
Yeah, it's a really weird situation, right? And it mirrors, I think, pretty closely those of the 3 players, whether it be Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, Chris Bryant, that we've seen. There really haven't been, unless there's some things that are happening that aren't being reported, there really haven't been extension talks. And that stuff typically doesn't take place very often in the middle of the season anyway. If that's going to happen, it happens in spring training, right, or before spring training even. Kyle Hendricks extended right at the end of spring training a few years ago, and even that is kind of rare, right? Now, the lockout caused a lot of problems with that, so I understand how that can play a role. But I think the issue here, and it feels a little bit like a game of chicken, for lack of a better term, in that Wilson Contreras wants to be paid like the best catcher in baseball, but the Cubs are looking at it and saying, hey, man, you're on the wrong side of 30. Your game is really predicated on your athleticism. Everybody knows that, especially as a catcher, athleticism typically doesn't improve once you get on the wrong side of 30. And again, they're looking at saying, hey, heading into the season now, I don't know this for a fact, right? So I'm not saying this is sourced information or anything. It feels, though, as if they've worked very hard to plant this idea We heard it from David Ross. We heard it from Jed Hoyer that, we need to give him a break. He needs more rest time so he can continue to create impact on offense.
Evan, you froze. You froze. Man, it's getting right into the middle of it too. Darn it. Evan, can you hear me? You know what? Let's try and get you back. Give him another second or so, a moment to see if he can catch us, but I'm not sure where he's coming to us from. And so here's what we'll do. We'll talk. And he's talked about, talk about Cubs. And this is why I love having Evan on. I love it. He is in tune with what's going on with the Cubs. And then he gives, his extremely educated opinion. He's going to come back with us in a moment. But this, we talked about a couple things with them, and a couple of things is, why do you operate like a small market team? All right, when you told Cub fans, because now you didn't tell me because I don't care about it. But when you told them that this team's going to be competitive and they're going to repeatedly vie for a division and go deep in the playoffs. Okay, that was the whole thing. All right, if you lose some guys, no problem. Remember, look at all the prospects that they had. All right, look at all the prospects that they had. The Gleyber Torreses, the Jorge Solers, in addition to the Bryants, the Rizzos, the Schwarbers, okay, the Addison Russells. Look at all those guys that they had, and you're anticipating them getting and continuing to stock up the farm system. But you have to remember, and baseball is a little different, but you got to remember, the better you are, the lower your draft pick is. Now, baseball is a little different because even though you may be a top pick, and there's always, can't misses in the drafts, and you get guys who are going to be stars and whatever. All right. But in baseball, it's okay to find stars who were in the 3rd, 5th, 7th, whatever round. So it's not like other sports where later in the rounds, the quality of players not as likely to become a star. I think we got Evan back. Evan, there you go, Papa.
Yeah, sorry about that. I have no idea what just happened, but no, I just to kind of follow up on that thought that I had there. We heard in the offseason, right at the end of last season, we're going to give Contreras more of a break. We knew the National League was getting the designated hitter, and we've seen that they've been using him a lot there. So they planted the seed that, he's not going to be catching as much. He needs to DH more to keep himself fresh. And now we're seeing that. And I mentioned his top-notch offensive production. But you know what? Guess what? An elite DH doesn't get paid like an elite catcher. And if they can go to the bargaining table and say, well, yeah, he's really, really good, but he's been DHing for several hundred at-bats or whatever you want to look at it, that kind of cuts down that value that he's able to get in terms of any kind of an extension, or if they want to try to work out a free agent deal, that's evaluated differently. But at the same time, if they're looking to trade him, they're pointing directly at the box score and saying, well, hey, look what this guy could give your team. And he's got value to all 29 other teams because the universal DH. And so it was a way for them to max his value on one end, and I think to bring it down in another. I think the Cubs absolutely knew what they were doing with this. And that's part of the reason why I think they were eventually willing to meet him in the middle, because they knew they'd get their value back, but they could save a couple $100,000, which, again, for a team like this, that's pennies, especially with what he's producing. But it's unfortunate. And I just, as much as I hate to say it, I think he's going to end up being gone, even though extending him is definitely the right way for them to go in terms of if they were truly interested in, quote unquote, rebuilding this thing and turning it around quickly. Because replacing him is going to cost a heck of a lot more than it will to keep him.
Yeah, I like Wilson Contreras. I think the things that you talk about, the things that he brings, not just on the field, but in the locker room, in the clubhouse as well. Those are things that aren't tangible, but those are things that are so important in sports.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and for them, it just bugs me, to have all that money, to have, you talked about the bid on the soccer team over in England. You talk about the buildings that they bought all around Wrigley. You talk about the sports book. all this extra money they're going to be getting, and to not do that for your guy or one guy that was, who played a part in your 2016 World Series run. To me, that's I don't know, that's shady, and that's literally cutthroat, which business is. But you know what? They didn't have a problem going over arbitration with Chris Bryant. Where they go 2 or 3 times, and every time whatever he was awarded in arbitration, they gave more, which was interesting. I guess they were trying to build some goodwill, so maybe in negotiating tactics, but they realized that didn't work. It just bugs me, that the Cubs are acting as operating as a mid-level team, and that's frustrating for Cub fans. It's got to be, so I've been told. But talk to me about their new guy. They got a whole bunch of young guys, and the latest guy is Chris Morel. This guy is young. He's has that youthful exuberance, that youthful energy. This guy's hitting homers. This guy's stealing bases. This guy is diving over, stealing extra bases. Talk to me about this guy, and where do you think he could be moving forward with this team? What he could be?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were not as high on him, or he didn't have quite the helium, as they call it in the prospect world. Some of these guys, because they made so many deals last year, whether it be the Yu Darvish trade, and then obviously the other 3 guys we've mentioned. So they brought in a ton of these young hot prospects, and those guys were getting all the hype. Whereas, Morel wasn't getting as much. He had been injured a couple years ago. He was kind of up and down a little bit, and was just at Double-A, and so nobody really had him on the radar. All of a sudden, he comes up, and he's one of these guys. I think you see this. I've mentioned this before, but you see it more in other sports, the NBA in particular, where I think a guy goes from one level to another, and you see so many guys who are better NBA player than a college player, right? Because the way the game changes. And Morel is one of these, I think, where the game itself doesn't change so much, but the fact that it is a higher level, there's more pressure, there's more fans in some cases. Maybe not when you see the Cubs play the Reds these days, but by and large, you've got just more energy. And that's the one word that people use so often to describe him. He's just incredibly energetic. He's enthusiastic. He's out there fist bumping the ump and the opposing catcher when he comes out, and just like he's one of those guys who everybody loves. Everybody around him loves him, and so he feeds off that. He's very versatile as well. Even though we've been seeing him almost exclusively in center field the last couple of weeks, he can play all over the infield, and he doesn't seem like somebody who comes in with a ton of expectations for what he thinks he's supposed to do, or what he doesn't care what position he plays. Just send me out there. I'm going to go have fun. And that's been, unfortunately, there's been way too little fun on the north side. So it's nice to have somebody around that. Like he makes it interesting to watch these games, even when the outcome might not indicate as much. And I think he's one of these guys. Like, I don't know what his ultimate role is if he continues to play in this, but he's definitely someone who will have a spot on that roster because of what he brings, and because he can move all over the place, right? So this is a guy you want as that teammate, as that spark plug to just be able to continue. So I think as young as he is, should the Cubs finally get back around in these next couple 3 years to being competitive again, I think he's a big part of that in whatever role that ends up being.
He is one of the guys I love. We talk about him. He plays with a very youthful exuberance, like he's still playing a child's. I mean, he is, but he feels as if he's playing a child's game. You talk about the fist bump, and you talk about there's so much excitement when you see this guy, so much innocence, so much purity, and it's so great to see with him, because the kid's 22 years old. All right, he's going to be 20. Oh, he'll be 23 years old in 2 days. All right, 23 years old, and just the way he plays the game. You talk about the purity of the game. Like, and he'll get hardened. Trust me, as the game goes on, life hardens you, the game hardens you, and and I'm sure he sees from other people. But right now, he just seems like he's just having so much fun. He would play the game for free. He plays the game the right way. I mean, he plays it hard. He plays it with enthusiasm. He plays it with happiness. I know it sounds weird to say, oh, he plays with happiness, but there's a joyful thing about him that you talked about, where you just want to watch it, just kind of watch him when he's at bat, because of what he could do. And his celebrations are authentic. They're not, to show anybody up. They're not to talk shit to anybody. They are like, man, I just hit a double and drove in the leading run. How awesome is that? Is the feel you kind of get when this guy's on base. How important is that, do you think, to the Cubs in their assessment of keeping him? Because if they put him at one spot and just leave him there and let him grow at that one spot, this guy could be, a mainstay for the future of this, maybe the next Cubs championship team. He's only going to be 23 in 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar feel to what Javier Baez brought when he came up, although I think that the major difference there was that, when I talked about those expectations, Baez came with some tremendous expectations because he was so heavily hyped ahead of time. I mean, he had the MLB logo tattoo on the back of his neck. So he had presented himself with plenty of those expectations. And this isn't to I don't want to directly compare the two or say one does it better than the other or anything, but it does, and you mentioned it, Morel's enthusiasm, just it feels a little bit more childlike in the best possible way, like what you want to see kids playing the game and celebrating it and just being happy to be there. When you have a guy like that who all his teammates want to be around, everybody at every level. I mean, you can look at any news piece, any tweet about Chris Morel and what he's doing, and you'll see a bunch of his former teammates and guys who are still in the minors or whatever, liking and sharing and enjoying that moment with him because they love playing with him so much that they can't help but feel incredibly happy about his accomplishments now. So that's only going to continue. I think having a guy like that who, again, and look, hey, a center field leadoff hitter in Chicago, right? Again, not a direct comp, but the last time they had one of those was Dexter Fowler, and they did pretty well with him out there. And that's another guy who had the infectious smile and who everybody wanted to be around. And so I'm not saying he's the same player, but there are some similarities in terms of personality and profile and that sort of thing, and how that can help to kind of drive that team and give them that piece. Because if there's one thing people have been talking about that the Cubs have needed for a long time, it is a leadoff hitter. It's been way too long
since Fowler.
Yeah, exactly. They've been looking for it forever, and this may be it.
Dude, that's awesome. Hey, Evan, great stuff, buddy. As always, man. I love talking and I appreciate your time. But do me a big favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, you can check out CubsInsider.com if you want to go directly that route. You can also just search Cubs Insider on Facebook, Twitter. Find us out there. You can go to YouTube, and we've got the YouTube page there. So we got a video show we do a couple days a week. We are all over the place. So just wherever you prefer to consume your media, we'll be there.
Good stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Are you still going to be doing any Bear coverage this year?
Yeah, we still got we got Bears Insider. I've stepped back from it a little bit because we got some other people who are super passionate about it and just putting out tons of great information, whether it be from the OTAs and then kind of how they're looking as they set up to go in with this new season. So yeah, we still got the coverage over at Bears Insider, all kinds of stuff over there as well.
Oh, dude, you're doing it, man. You guys are doing
Trying
it.
to.
Hey, you got to stay tuned, man. We got a huge announcement for Sports Zone Chicago coming up on Friday. Up on Friday. So sorry, my voice is a little crazy. I was telling my producer back there that I went to the Sox game last night, and that sucker was crazy. And I left. I left. It's so funny. So I left in the eighth inning because I was. After the seventh, because I was tired. I got up at 4:00 yesterday for CrossFit. Had a crazy workout. I didn't get a nap in, and I was running around all day. I got to the park. We had some drinks beforehand. They had house music. It was house music night yesterday at Sox Park, so they had house music DJs out there. My cousin who ended up meeting me there knew a guy who worked at the bar inside the park. So you talk about it was crazy. So my day was, I got home, I left. I literally got home in the ninth inning. There was the traffic unbelievably was crazy because I left before the game was over. So I got there quick, got home quickly, and I got to watch the game, and I ended up not going to bed. So my voice is a little rough, but it was definitely a good game to go to and be there with Dylan C. So yeah, I'm hurting now, but make sure you check it out. It'll be on social media and stuff like that. Nice. We got a huge, some pretty huge news for us. For everybody coming out on Friday. So we'll be on this show and all the other shows afterwards. So good stuff.
Sounds good.
Awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate it. We'll be in touch soon, man. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All righty. Guys, that's Evan Altman from CubsInsider.com. Always appreciate his time, man. It is because he's one, he's a Cub fan. Okay, so he's truly passionate. You heard him talk about him stepping back from the Bears. The Bears might not be his true passion, but I'll tell you what, the Cubs are his true passion. And the first time that we met, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe 3 years. You know what? The pandemic screwed everything up. It could have been 3 or 4 years ago with the pandemic. It seems like 2, but sometimes you might have to count out those 2 years, but it might be 4. But the first time I had him on, I could tell this dude was a Cub fan. I could tell, like, he's as passionate about his Cubs as I am about my White Sox. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have this guy on as much as he wants to come on, because that's the type of stuff we want to bring you guys. That's the type, and there's a lot of, tons of Cub fans who are in this feed. I know Junior's a huge Cub fan. We would talk shit to each other, at practice all the time about Cub Sox, and so that's one of the things that I want people like that, to give to you guys. So when you hear things, you're like, oh shit, this guy is as passionate about the Cubs as I am, and that's what makes us so good here at Sports Zone Chicago, is we try and find those types of people you want to hear, people who have that same passion as you for your particular team. It's when you have that passion, you guys, when there's something that you're passionate about, there's nothing you won't do for that. And that's what we're trying to do here, is get those types of people to come on and give you their insight, their thoughts on their team and your team as well. Listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little White Sox. My White Sox had a big win. We're going to talk about that yesterday, which is why my voice is a little crazy. But we're going to talk about that on the other side. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, this is Gary Payton, and we listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Do that.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago on this House Music Wednesday. We just keep it. It's just might as well. All right, House Music Monday edition. You know how we do every Monday, and it was House Music Night yesterday at Sox Park. Might as well keep it going. You know what? House music all night long. Say what? House music all night long. That's all my house heads. If you don't know about house music, you better ask them. You better ask somebody. I'm telling you, we just got done with Evan Altman, from CubsInsider.com. He was giving us his opinion on the state of the Cubs. It's frustrating as a Cub fan. It's frustrating. You've won 2 out of your last 10 games. You're 2-8 in that stretch. And it's not just that; it's the brand of baseball you're playing. Okay, it'd be frustrating to one extent if you're playing good baseball but just getting beat by better teams. Okay, but when you're this brand, the way they're losing, it is beyond frustrating for Cub fans. But we got to talk about it. We got to figure out what you want to do. What do you want to do with Ian Happ? You talked about he has 1 year left on his deal. Jay Hayes probably going to stay. They're probably they're trying. They're trying. If someone would get rid of his contract, the Cubs would be happy as a pig in slop. But looks like he's not going anywhere. He's going to live out the last couple of years. I think 24 is the end of his deal. I'm not positive. or 23. I think I think it's 23. Um, Wilson Contreras, that whole situation, it's got to be frustrating as a Cub fan. And I, you know what, if I didn't dislike the Cub fan base so much, I probably would feel sorry for you, but I don't. So trust me, you kicked us when we were down plenty of time. But all kidding aside, it's got to be frustrating. The White Sox, though, on that side of town, they're frustrating too. All right, they are frustrating as well. All right, they for whatever reason they decided to again, I feel not put a lot of. I mean, they're not as focused as I needed them to be. Okay. I felt often that they had been reading the press clippings too much. I felt that they believed they were satisfied with the individual accolades that they'd won. They had, you had a batting champion in there. You have a gold glove in there. You have a silver slugger in there. You have a MVP in there. You got a couple all-stars in there. I thought at one point that they might just be resting on their laurels, which to me, as a former player and a former coach, gets my goat. Okay, it gets my goat. And I didn't feel that this team had what I would call the eye of the tiger. And if you don't know what that is, then you're definitely way, way too young to be rocking with me. But I didn't feel like they had the eye of the tiger. I didn't feel that they had the right mentality going forward. I didn't think they had the right mentality moving forward toward this year, because this is the year. This was supposed to be the year that we are going to seriously contend for a World Series title. I didn't say win it. I just said seriously contend. Well, whether we won it or not, who knows? But we're damn sure getting out of the first round of the playoffs. That's for sure. And then injuries happen again. Then people performing far below their capabilities. And not just one or two, a lot. You combine that with the injuries. Lance Lynn went down. He just came back. All right. Eloy Jimenez was out for a little, has been out for a little bit with a torn hamstring. Lewis Robert was out for a little bit. AJ Pollock, our free agent signing, he was out. Remember, as I said earlier, our whole starting outfield was out at one particular point. All right. Yohan Moncada started on the start of the season on the injured list with a strained oblique. All right. Yasmani Grandal has been out. What is going on? Tim Anderson has been out at different points. And we're only, 60 games or 50, 60 games in? Okay, talk about frustrating. You talk about getting off to a rocky start when in the year that you're supposed to be serious contenders, that the AL Central was supposed to be ours. Well, shit, we're in third place looking up. Cleveland and Minnesota are battling it out for the top spot now. They're tied. Cleveland's ahead by percentage points. All right, Cleveland's 35-28. Minnesota's 38-31. Cleveland's ahead 556 winning percentage, and Minnesota has a 551 winning percentage. We're in third place, but we're only 4 games back. 4 games back. We're only 4 games back. With not even, we haven't even hit the All-Star break yet. So one of the things that I'm starting to see with this team is situational hitting. That's the part that I need. Don't give me a homer when we're up 20 and it doesn't really matter, and you're just padding your stats and expect me to be, oh, wow, you had a home run. No. Don't give me a homer when we're down 6 runs. It's a solo shot and be all excited about it. I need hits when ducks are on the pond. I need you to get a base hit when there's runners on second and third. When there's a runner on second, or a runner on third, I need a fly ball, at least a sac fly. Situational hitting is my biggest issue with this team. And I am not naive to the fact to know that you're not going to be batting 1,000 with runners in scoring position. I get it. I understand that. But when the game's on the line, That's where I need people to step up. That's where I need people to rise to the occasion. That's where I need people to want all that smoke, to want that heat, to want that pressure. Because if you got guys who want that pressure, they're going to revel in it. Okay? It's not going to be too big. The moment won't be too big for them. Okay? It builds confidence when you start delivering in those pressure situations. Because guess what? I don't know if you know it. There'll be pressure situations down the stretch. When we play Cleveland again, when we play Minnesota again. There's going to be pressure situations there. There's going to be pressure situations in the playoffs. And the further along you go in the playoffs, the more pressure there is. You think the opening round's bad? What about the ALDS? Divisional series. There's more pressure there. And if you get to the ALCS, there's more pressure there. And if you get to the World Series, that's the ultimate pressure. That is the biggest stage you can get on. But if you've been successful and you come through and you want all that smoke in now and into the playoffs, guess what? The World Series stage won't be as bright. Because trust me, if you've never been on the World Series stage, if you've never played a championship series or championship game, there's going to be some apprehension there from most people. Not all, most. But at some point, you're gonna revert to your means. Like, okay, I've been in a pressure situation. I've been up to bat with 2 outs and runners on second and third, with us tied or with us down 1 or with us up 2. Who knows? But I've been in this situation, so I can draw back on that experience, and my anxiety level won't be as high. Because let's be real. When you charter into when you go to uncharted territories, pressure is there. Or pressure you haven't felt before. Which is why AJ Pollock is huge for this team. Okay? You need veterans here. Guys who've won World Series rings, guys who've gone to the division or championship series, league championship series, to help these young guys. Tim Anderson's never been there. Adam Engel's never been there. Yohan's never been there. Eloy's never been there. Lulob's never been there. Andrew Vaughn's never been there. Giolito, Cease, they've never been there. That's the majority of your team. But what they're starting to do right now, which is what I love, is they're starting to be resilient. They're starting to come back, and they don't care if they're down 2 runs in the 9th inning. They're going to score at least 2. They're going to score at least 2 and keep this game going, which is what they did yesterday. Them doing that yesterday got me excited. Got me fired up because of the potential this team seems to be coming around. Is it there yet? 100%? No. But it's coming around. And that is what I want to see. You know, the approach that they took yesterday was awesome. 15 hits yesterday, 13 the day before. All right, you're down 2 runs in the 9th. Didn't matter. We'll get it. We'll get it. All right, Lewis Robert was up. Runners on second and third. Comes through. That's big time. That is big time. Okay? This is one of your superstars. You paid him like a superstar. You've hyped him up as a superstar. And he delivers. And he delivers in the bottom of the 9th. You're down 2. He delivers to tie the game. The confidence that's going through that young man is indescribable right now. Don't let him come up in a big-time situation. Because trust me, teams know. The Orioles are next. I know we have one more game today with the Blue Jays. So they know what he can do. You best believe the Orioles know what he can do in situations with runners in scoring position. He just tied the game on Tuesday to give them a chance to win, which they did. Then in the 10th, Vlad Guerrero with the runner on second. You know, they have that leadoff runner in an extra innings. Vlad Guerrero, I want to say first pitch, second pitch, goes oppo, base hit, brings in Bo Bichette, I believe it was. 5-4. Well, what happens? Sox come back in the bottom of the 10th, 5-5. Tie it up. Okay, that's resiliency. Top of the 11th. Tapia single right and Chapman score. They go up 6-5. You're like, God bless it. So what do? Tim Anderson gets on base. Or Tim Anderson's on base. I'm sorry. You know what they do? And this was beautiful. 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 They bunted to the third baseman. I want to say it was A.J. Pollock. No, who was second is? I can't remember. Regardless, you talk about good old-fashioned baseball because they only needed one run. They only needed one run to tie. Comes up, bunts perfectly past the pitcher, right to the third baseman. Third baseman has to field it. Tim Anderson slides into third safely, gets the runner over. That is what I'm talking about. That situational baseball. Look, I need you to bunt. But not just, you got to bunt, but you got to get it down. You understand what you got to do, but getting it done is another issue. Getting it done, if you've never played baseball, it's difficult to bunt. Yeah, it's easy in Little League. But you don't got guys with 90, 95 mile an hour stuff that moves all over the place. You got to get your bat on the ball to bunt. Perfectly executed. This is what I'm talking about. Timely hitting. All right. Lewis Robert up again. What does he do? You know what? I'll just fly out, let Tim score. He does it. Tie the game. Then a great job by Vince Velasquez in the 11th and the 12th. The 11th inning and the 12th inning, great job by Vince. Shuts them down at the 12th, and the Sox get a chance. It runs on first and second. Run on first, doesn't matter. All we needed was a guy in second who was Jose Abreu. There are 2 outs. 2 outs. Let's talk about more pressure. And Josh Harrison delivers a single to left center field. Jose looked like there's something wrong. He's not at 100%, but he's still out there grinding for his guys, for the fans. Comes around and scores. All this without the benefit of a home run yesterday for the White Sox. All of this. Which, if you're a Sox fan, should not be overlooked. And it should be getting you really, really, really excited right about now. Because if you can start to win games, it's a 7-6 game with no homers, with no home runs from this White Sox team who's built for home runs. And you start winning games without the home run, slugfest like this, 7-6 against another team whose offense is just as yoked as yours, and you do it without the home run, God forbid you start hitting home runs. God forbid you start hitting home runs, because games like this will be over quickly. Games against inferior opponents will be over quickly. At that point, hopefully they start to get that eye of the tiger. They start to get that hunter's mentality. I'm hunting my first World Series title, and nothing is going to stop me. I need you to have that Clubber Lang mentality. And I'm just dating myself, but damn it. My White Sox need to get this Clubber Lang mentality. You're going to do whatever you have to. You're going to pummel everybody who's in your way. Jimmy Johnson, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, University of Miami, Dallas, and then the Miami Dolphins, said this best. This was the best thing I've ever heard from a coach. He said they were upset with him because he was running up the score. think he said at the University of Miami, because they were blowing people out. He said, you know what? It's not my job to stop me from scoring. It's yours. And that is the mentality you have to have now with this White Sox team. We're going to pummel you every chance we get. Because what that does for this White Sox team, one, it gives them confidence. And I'm scared because if you give them that much confidence, it becomes arrogance. But two, it sends a message to the rest of the league. This team is not to be played with. Look what the Yankees are doing. You don't think that sends a message to the rest of baseball? 50 wins? You don't think they've sent a message to the rest of Major League Baseball? We are here this year to stay. The next closest team is the other New York team, the Mets, who have been crappy for so long. 50 wins. The next highest team is the Mets with 45 wins. Then you got the Astros with 42, the Dodgers with 41, the Padres with 42. They just have more losses. But 50 wins. You think people like going to see Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo? I call him Frank Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo. Josh Donaldson. I know he's a jamoke, but you think you want to go deal with that crew? No. Why? Because they've set a precedent all year. You better watch out because we're knocking the ball all over the goddamn park. We're knocking it out of the park at every field. Oh, yeah, by the way, we got a short porch in left and right field for people like Rizzo. We got you, Papa. Don't trip. Hopefully this is the beginning of the turnaround for the White Sox because their offense is just as potent as the Yankees. They just got to do it. They have that potential. You've seen Lewis Robert, and he started to come in. You've seen Braves a 30-100 guy, period. As sure as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, he's a 3,100 guy. He'll get back to that. And because he started off slow, I told you earlier, it's going to come in bunches. You watch. It's going to come in bunches. Then I can't say enough for the relievers yesterday. You know, we give them a lot of flack for blowing leads. It's tough. You know, you got to run around second, a base hit. Usually you got a guy in first. Now it brings home a run. I get it. It's cool. I'm not giving you shit on that by any stretch. But when it mattered, Vince Velasquez, a guy who had been very unimpressive to this point, except for the last couple of games. He comes in, gives a base hit in the 11th. All right, they score, fine. But in the 12th, you talk about a tough inning. A tough inning. He had the heart of the order. Was able to get him out. Talking Vlad, talking Bo Bichette, all these guys in the 12th, which allowed us to have a chance to win it in the bottom of the 12th, and we did. So going forward, you know, you could sit there and, you know, here's another thing. I know most people don't like Tony La Russa. I know that. And he's given a lot of you a lot of reasons not to like him. Okay. But yesterday at Sox Park, you had the fire Tony chance break out again. And how stupid do you look when the Sox win? How stupid do you look when you're chanting fire your manager? Oh, and he just won today. I wasn't a big Tony La Russa fan. Let me take that back. I wasn't a big fan of the Tony La Russa hire. What Tony La Russa's done in this game is unparalleled. Okay? He's a Hall of Fame manager for a reason. Didn't mean I wanted him here, but I'm going to root for my Sox. And just because they do something I don't like doesn't mean I'm going to stop being a Sox fan. Also, it doesn't stop me from looking at the big picture. This is where I get upset with a lot of my Sox fan friends, or just whatever team you root for. But in this case, Sox. There's a big picture here. You have to understand what a manager's going through. What lineup would you put out? And I get it. I talked about lineup construction earlier. You don't put Leo Garcia number one. You don't. Does no way on God's green earth does that dude need to be number one. You don't want your worst hitter, one of your worst hitters, having the most at bats in your game. It doesn't make sense. But what else does Tony have to do? What was Tony playing with? What was he managing with? Yomo Gada out to start the season. Eloy Jimenez out. Luis Robert out. AJ Pollock out at points. Tim Anderson out. Yasmani Grandal out at points. Lance Lynn out at points. So you're not even able to get a consistent lineup. And yeah, even on this show, I've made it a big deal. The first 47 games, 47 different lineups. But who does he have to put in? Guys kept getting hurt. And you're asking guys who, like an Andrew Vaughn, a Jake Berger, you're asking them to step up. And they have. But you didn't need, going into the season, they weren't supposed to have been needed this much. But they are. And now with the weather getting warmer and people who are all on Josh Harrison because of his poor offensive production to this point, and it's bad. I'm not going to lie to you. It's bad. Okay. Josh Harrison he's batting 204, right above the Mendoza line. Batting 204. Made some huge plays for us the last two games. Huge. Offensively and defensively. And that's what makes great teams. Guys who you don't expect. And I know we gave him a lot of money in the offseason, but guys that you don't expect to be your heroes when they step up and now everybody's contributing. This is what championship teams are made of. How many people who knew who Jeff Blum was before his home run to end the game 3 in the 05 World Series? Who remembered Jeff Blum? Not a lot of people. But he's a role player stepping up. Josh is a role player, and he's been stepping up. He's been stepping up. So hopefully it's a good turn of events. One more game here at Toronto, or with Toronto here at home. That's today at 1:10 on NBC Sports Chicago. Then we host Baltimore for 4 games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, before we head out to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim on Monday. If this is the turning point, we can come back to this series with the Blue Jays. The White Sox go on to win the Central, go on to do whatever they do. This is the series you can point to, because it was the first time. Well, not the first. They beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. The Yankees took 3 out of 4 from us here. We took 2 out of 3 from them there. Okay. But then we played Boston. Boston got in our ass here. All right, the Dodgers got in our ass here. And you're like, man, here we go again. Contending teams we can't do well against. Contending teams we don't do well against. Here comes a contending team. Here come the Toronto Blue Jays with an offense just as powerful, if not more powerful at this point than ours. Our offense. And here's where it turned. Here's where you can see the turning point of their season, this series, if it goes in the right direction. You could do the same thing as it did in the Yankees. We won 2, and then next thing you know, we started losing after. I don't know. But if this team is about to go a long way, I say this is the series. You have a chance to sweep them today at 110. See who's at a bump. Who's at a bump for them? For us and for them. On a bump today, it's Lucas. Okay. Lucas Giolito on a bump for the good guys. Here's a great way. Remember I've talked before. I'm like, listen, I just want to win series. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. A whole bunch of 2-1s Give me a win. Give me a series winning streak. That's the streak I want. Not just a game winning streak. Give me a series winning streak. Have us win the next 7 series. Have us win the next 7 series. Then now we're cooking with gas. But if you get the first 2 of a series, go for the kill shot. Go for the kill shot. Go for the sweep. Because if you see a lot of series wins and in those a couple of series sweeps, I'm telling you, teams notice. Their management team, their coaching staff, their fans know it. Like, damn, here come the White Sox. They've won the last 7 series in a row. See, we might get one, but they're probably going to take 2. And hope they don't sweep us. There's a lot going on now. It's starting to look really, really sunny on the south side, and I'm really, really happy about it. Really happy. TA, keep doing TA things. When Yo-Yo comes back, Yo-Yo's got to step it up. Because what's going to happen if Yo-Yo doesn't give us the production we need at the plate, one of 2 things. One, he'll be dropped further in the order, which I'm okay with. Or 2, he won't be in the lineup, which I'm not okay with. Because if he's not in the lineup, then we need him at third base. He is our best third baseman. Berger is not that dude at third base. Okay? Berger. Listen. Berger is not that dude.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
He's not that dude we need at third. He's not. Great offensively, but we need Yo-Yo's defense. And if Yo-Yo can come out of his slump, watch out. All right, listen, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we got some Bulls conversation. Let me tell you, there's a lot of rumors going around. A lot of rumors. And we got to try and figure this out. What's real, what's legit, what's not real, what's not legit. We got to figure some of this stuff out. So we'll do that on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
What is it you want to do when you grow up?
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport. Yeah, yeah. It's a romance sport. Yeah, it's a romance sport like that. This one going out.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JCoinReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My feature stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media, who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real life cousin, Lance Irvin. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoinreports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoin.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago on this House Music Wednesday edition. We're just doing it. We're just going to go with it. All right. House Music Monday, Sox game, House Music night at Sox Park. We're just going with it. Just going to go with it. Bump it. House Music Wednesday here on Shawn and Maya in the morning. Listen, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little Bulls. There have been a lot. Woo, Charlie, there are a lot of rumors going around about our Bulls. Okay. Our Bulls are, we're in a state of flux right about now. Okay. We just saw what it took to win the NBA title. We had a first round matchup with the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, and they gave it to us. They gave it to us. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But what it did, which was really huge, was it showed us our weaknesses. It showed us where we need to get better. We didn't have a lot of rebounding. We didn't have any inside presence on the defensive end. And teams took advantage of that, or I should say the Milwaukee Bucks took advantage of that. In one game, you can get away with it. But in a series, and this happens to both teams, all of your weaknesses are exposed. Okay? All of your weaknesses get exposed. And they exposed us. All right? We have no one on the inside defensively. We need better spot up 3-point shooters. So the front office of Karnisovas and Eversley have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do for this team next year. We don't want to continue to make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round. That sucks. And I don't mean to be a get off my lawn type of guy, but man, we have, we were spoiled back in the 90s. We're used to, and then even with Derrick Rose for a little bit, got to the Eastern Conference Finals. We haven't been back since. This is a team that needs to. Basketball is another sport that unites this city. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, because everybody plays basketball. Everybody plays basketball. Whether it's high school, whether you just play out on the park district, whether you play out on the courts, on the blacktop, everybody plays basketball. Everybody is experienced hitting a three-pointer. Everyone's experienced hitting a free throw. Everyone is experienced. And this city galvanizes itself around the Bulls as well. Bears, top team in the city, hands down. But they also galvanize around this Chicago Bulls team. And what this Bulls team needs is a couple of changes. All right. A couple of changes need to happen because where we're going now, it's tough. You don't want to continue being frustrated as a Bull fan because you don't want to become apathetic. I don't want to do that. I was apathetic for a long time. And how many times have you heard me talk about, man, I have so much Bulls gear with new tags still with the tags on it that I haven't worn. Remember those? Yeah. But let me tell you, I was happy this season. I was very happy this season, but I'll tell you what, it bugged me that the way it ended. It really, really, really got to me the way it ended. So yeah, there need to be some changes. There need to be some changes, and I'm all for it. So here's the rumor that we're hearing. The rumors that we're hearing is the Bulls are going after Rudy Gobert. That's what we're hearing. Have you heard those? I have. I heard them all over social media. And the rumor goes that the reason it hasn't happened yet is that the Bulls are unwilling to get rid of Patrick Williams. They want him in on the deal. And the Bulls say no. What would you do? What would you do? We got a guy here. There's a tweet from John Greenberg. And John Greenberg has been fairly accurate a lot with his reports, with his sources. I'm sorry, did I say John? Daniel. Sorry, Daniel. Okay, this is from yesterday. He said sources tell him that the Bulls are giving up Nikola, P. Will, Kobe White, this year's first, and they have Portland's unprotected pick for the three-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. This is from Daniel Greenberg. He tweeted this out. His sources have told him that. Then I'm listening to the radio this morning because I'm all excited. Like, okay, after getting that tweet, after getting that pick last night from a buddy of mine, I'm listening to other people, but I'm listening to the Score, and they talked about the same thing. They were talking about this at the same time, but they said, "Hey, listen, our friend Casey Johnson said that these rumors aren't true." He said those rumors for Rudy Gobert are not true. Or they've been overstated, per Casey Johnson. So overstated. So now who do we believe? Are they still going for Rudy Gobert? Is Patrick Williams in mix? Kobe White? I like Kobe White. You can go. I like Kobe White, but you can go, Papa. I don't care. To get a guy like Rudy Gobert? And here's the problem. Vooch, if you would have been a better three-point shooter, if you would have just played to the back of your baseball card, I know it's basketball, but it's just the same. And you would have been a 40% three-point shooter with your time with us here, we're having a different conversation. We're having a different conversation. You put Nikola Vucevic at 42% or 40% plus from beyond the arc, like he was in Orlando. This is a whole different team. This is a completely different team. But because of his inability to get to that level, it made it a lot more difficult for us as a team, for the Bulls as a team, to do what they wanted to do, because a lot of it was predicated on him being a 40+% shooter from beyond the arc. So you're picking Poppin at the top of the key. You're giving it to a 40% 3+ shooter, or I think it was a 38. I'm sorry. I know Fred Pfeiffer gave me the stat, and I can't. It was pretty close to 40%. So now you can't pick and pop with him because you don't have to worry about him if you're on the defensive side of the ball. You don't have to worry. Chances are he's going to miss. He'll make a couple in the 28% range. And that's not good enough. That is not good enough. But they're giving up a draft pick. Let me see that. Let's see that again. Let me see that again. Here's what they said. Vooch, P. Will, Kobe White, 20 first round pick, Portland's unprotected pick. I'm okay with giving all that up except for Patrick Williams. You know, and I get it. You know, and Ghostman was telling me back there, you know, Gobert's contract is huge. He's owed $38 million. for the season coming up, 22-23, and then $41 million and $43 million in the years to follow. Okay. And you're gonna have to pay Zach the max. You just the rumors, the Bulls have just said, per multiple sources, that the Bulls have informed NBA teams that Zach is off the market. He's going to sign with them. Stop talking to him. Now, Zach is a free agent. He can do what he wants, but you know, are the Bulls gonna start acting like the big boys now? Are you gonna be paying two guys $40 million? Because it's 5 years, 212 for Zach. That's 40 plus. You got Gobert making 38, 41, and 43. Are you okay with that? I'll tell you what, if that means Gobert stops people from driving the lane, if he alters, I'm not saying blocks, but if he alters shots to a point where it becomes noticeable, I'm seriously considering that. Because our defense last year was atrocious. Our interior defense was atrocious. Our perimeter defense, I think it was great. Back when Lonzo Ball was healthy, Alex Caruso, even Zach LaVine, Kobe White. I know he'll be part of the trade, but our perimeter defense was good. It's just once you got to the inside, there was no rim protector. There was nobody there to alter shots. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have a big man who can give us something offensively, which Rudy Gobert does not. So this is the big sticking point. Some people are high on him. Yes, bring him over. Okay. But at what cost? You can't give. I mean, you can't get without giving. They're not going to give this guy away. See, the Jazz are in a perfect spot. You want to trade him? No problem. We got control over him for the next couple of seasons. He has a hefty price tag. So because he's under control, we're gonna tell you, we're gonna demand what we want. Why do you think the White Sox got all these prospects? They gave you players in the bigs, Chris Sale, with a lot of control to the Boston Red Sox. Controlled years. Well, now Boston knows I only got to pay Chris Sale X amount of dollars for the next couple of years. Now I can go after other people, which they did. That's a big bargaining chip. Utah's going to ask for a lot, as you see. I would like the center to be able to give us something offensive, and he can. It's just not going to be, the offense is not going to be run through him. He's got to get rebounds. He gets rebounds. So a lot of his points come off of putbacks, which is fine. But what about a facilitator? What about, because what happens with him, you have people who aren't afraid to put him outside, pull him outside. You got guys who aren't afraid if he has the ball. He's not going to score. It hurts us offensively. They're going to try and pull him out defensively. If they're successful, they're going to try and get him on switches with small guards, centers and small guards. What if these centers can hit the three like Vooch was supposed to be able to do? So I'm not sure exactly. The biggest issue for me and a lot of other people is the contract, is the money. If he's getting $25 million, I'd say do it in a heartbeat. Do it in a heartbeat. Even if it was at $30 million, I'd be like, whew, but man, we need him. But it's 38. It's 41, 43 for the next 3 years. Does Patrick Williams take a big step forward? Why are they protecting this guy? Do they believe in his potential to be as huge as they're intimating? And they're intimating it by protecting this guy. They're like, no, he's not part of the deal. So they believe in his potential. They believe he's ready to take a step forward. They believe he's going to be one of those dudes on this team. Because otherwise, you don't trade a guy like you trade a guy like this if you don't believe in him completely to get a defensive player of the year, a rim protector, a rebounder. You don't protect a guy like Patrick Williams unless you think he's going to be special. Obviously, the Bulls think he's going to be special. He showed flashes of it. He's shown flashes of his potential to be special. And with a full season, a full training camp, a full allotment of preseason games, we're going to see. Maybe they've seen something in practice. Maybe they see the way he goes to players in practice. Those we're not open to those. They're not open to the public. Maybe they see something in him that, no, this dude is going to be special. Which is why they're holding that, which is why he's been off the table. So rumors are flying. If you give Nikolai, Kobe White, and first round pick for Gobert, I'm cool. I'm good with it. Let's ask my guy, Ghostman, for a minute, how he feels about it. Ghostman, you're on mute, Papa. Yeah, you're on mute.
Well, that's embarrassing.
It happens to all of us.
No, but what I was saying was, I believe in the talent of Rudy Gobert. It's undeniable, how talented he is. I believe he's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no doubt the talent you're getting if you do sign him. It's just, like I mentioned with the contract, I'm not sure if you want to pay that, especially now with Zach LaVine and offering him the max contract. That's going to be a lot of money, and you don't know how Rudy Gobert is going to be in the next 2 years, 3 years. I think he'll still be good, but again, nothing's ever guaranteed in the NBA. And again, Rudy Gobert, we need more offense, and Rudy Gobert is not known for his offense. So this is another thing too, where is he going to clog the lanes? Is he going to make it harder for guys to move around? It's a lot of things to consider. But I kind of like what you were saying. If you can get him for the right price, the right package, I think you do it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Just the offensive thing, but then where you're expecting Patrick Williams to step up.
Yeah, Patrick Williams needs to turn the corner because he's supposed to be kind of like a hybrid between Gobert and a really good offensive scorer. He's supposed to be the guy that can lock down your best player and also give you 20 points, 5 assists, and 7 rebounds, something like that. That's what Patrick Williams is supposed to also be. So Williams, he needs to turn a corner too. I know he was really unlucky this past season with injuries, but he's going to be in the league now for 3 seasons. He's been playing with some good guys, getting some good training. We need to see him turn a corner too.
And I think we've, as I said, we've seen flashes, and if he can do this on a consistent basis, well, then I think you found it, because I think you found your guy. Because I said he could be the dude. I said he could be one of the big 3 that we have. It would be obviously Zach, it'd be DeMar, and P. Will. I said he could be one of that. He could be one of those dudes, but he has to show it, and we haven't seen it because he was out with injury and then limited time back last year. But we saw the flashes, and I think he's going to come back, and hopefully he comes back with a chip on his shoulder, saying, "Hey, I am that dude. I could be the next Jordan Poole type of guy."
Yeah,
how they have over in Golden State, where he can do pretty much everything for them. So we'll see, man. I hope he takes this step forward. I hope the moment isn't too big for him. I hope he's able to thrive and become exactly what we need.
And I think the important thing that people need to realize too is that like Patrick Williams is still like incredibly young. I know like a lot of NBA talent is really young nowadays, but like Patrick Williams is still really, really young. I'm pretty sure he's like either my age, which I'm 22, or I think he's even younger than me. So I mean, he is still a very raw talent, and you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you give up on him too early, and then he becomes a superstar, in 5 years because he finally grew into his body, grew into his talent, and he's now a star. So that's a situation you don't want if you're the Bulls.
He's 20 years old. He'll be he'll be
He's
20.
he's 2 years younger than me. I mean, like this kid still has so much time left in the NBA. If he can just figure out his whole injury, concerns, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a great contributor for a long time in the NBA. That's for sure.
He'll turn 21 in August, so right before the season.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that people forget. He only would have been a senior at Florida State. Like people keep forgetting how jumping from the NBA, from college to the NBA, I know it's great and all, but how it's detrimental to your development.
Yeah.
Because in the NBA, they're not teaching you the fundamentals. They feel you should have them. Okay. And plus, the NBA is not fundamentally sound, so they're not really worried about that to begin with. They want the excitement.
Yeah.
But you guys have to grow. Guys have to mature. I mean, look at the situation in Golden State where Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins was the number 1 pick in the NBA draft in what, 08? 09?
Oh, I want to say
mean,
like maybe
I
like
was like
it's like 2010s, like 2012. I want to say 2012, 2013.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
This dude was considered a bust.
Yeah.
He was considered a big time bust. It was the first round in 2014, number 1 overall pick. He just became good this year. It's 2022. It's 8 years later.
But kind of like what you were saying with Pat Will, you saw the flashes. He was injured a lot, and
Mhm.
frankly, had a lot of bad seasons. But in between those seasons and injuries, you saw the flashes. Same thing with Pat.
So getting kids because of the draft, the early draft status of a lot of people and entry into the NBA, you got to be patient. Because if Patrick Williams had stayed at Florida State, okay, another 2 years, which means he came out after last year, he top players around. Because no one knew about Patrick Williams because there was no COVID. Due to COVID, there was no NCAA tournament. Remember, it got stopped.
Yeah.
It got stopped in the middle of one of the games. Like, yeah, we're done. One of the conference tournament games, like, you're done. No more. And then the NCAA tournament got canceled and everything. So he wasn't on the national stage. He was the leading people. It's funny how people want to find things to discredit other people. There's a lot of Bulls fans who didn't like the pick because he was the 6th man on I'm talking about Patrick Williams on Florida State. He led the team in scoring. He led the team in scoring as a freshman. So you saw the potential there. You saw the fact that, if something came up, this guy could handle it. This guy could run it. So I understand completely why the Bulls are like, no, we ain't getting rid of this dude. He's not on the table.
Yeah, no, I mean, I forget who the head coach is at Florida State, but I know he's now been with the program for a long time, and that program has now produced some quality big men, some quality NBA talent. And he was saying that Patrick Williams was one of the best, players, one of the best prospects he's had at the program. And this is still a guy that was young, building his way up the roster, getting his playing time. He didn't play a whole lot, but he definitely made the most of the time he had. He was a big impact player for the Seminoles. So again, I think you just got to give him time.
I do too, and you don't want to give it up because I think they see that this guy is going to be something. This guy's going to be a special player, and you don't want to give up a special player. I mean, it happens a lot. My White Sox did it with Fernando Tatis.
Yeah. See,
yes.
you're kind of going where I want to bring this now is I want to ask you, do you trust the Chicago Bulls, player development, the staff that we have? Because frankly, I feel it's kind of a common theme, at least here right now in Chicago sports. We don't have the best player development with a lot of our pro teams. Just players aren't developing at the rates we need them to. And, especially the Bulls, you look at the past, outside of a few guys like, Jimmy Butler probably being the most prominent one, the Bulls haven't really developed homegrown talent, good homegrown talent in a long time. So do you still trust our developers, our trainers and all, and that sort?
Well, to answer your question, it's still up in the air. I don't know. There's not enough body of evidence because it's only, AK's his third year going into.
Yeah.
Okay, so year one, you don't have that shit done. All right, but going in before year two is when he was able to get develop a player development group in the organization. They didn't have that division. They didn't even have it in our structure. That wasn't even part of this organization. So he had a player development department. He created a player development department during last year, in the last offseason. So now Kobe White stepped up for. Remember, at one point, Kobe White was leading the NBA in 3-point shots.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at that, you're like, okay, cool. Then Patrick Williams comes back. Patrick Williams showed flashes. You're like, whoa, okay. So look at Javonte Green. Whenever you're about to say something bad about someone, like an old black lady, be like,
Yeah.
God bless his soul. God bless her soul. If Javonte Green was 6'7", I'd keep him. He'd be one of the best role players in the NBA if he was 6'7". He's not. He's 6'3".
Yeah.
Could jump out of the gym, can dunk on your head, hit a three or two, or hit a three once or twice for you. But if he was 6'7", he's just too short. All right, Jones Jr. We saw a lot of young players who played well for the Bulls last year.
Totally.
Now,
yeah.
just because they got overmatched doesn't mean that their development was bad. They got overmatched because they got guys who were developed. You're talking about the Greek Freak. You're talking about Bobby Portis. You're talking about a lot of other guys who have been in the league, guys who are bigger, stronger. And
Bobby Portis is a good example of kind
development.
of the development going poorly, where Bobby Portis, Chicago Bulls draft pick, leaves, goes to I believe he had a stint with the Wizards.
Wizards, yep.
Kind of flamed out there, and then goes to the Bucks, wins the championship, and now he's a main piece of that team. So
he's a huge fan favorite up there.
They love him there.
They love Crazy Eyes up there, man. So I don't know if I had to answer your question. If I had to, you got a gun to my head and say, yeah, I trust him, because look what they did with Kobe White. And yeah, Kobe White was, hot and cold to a point, but there was a point where he was the best 3-point shooter in the NBA percentage-wise for a while.
Yeah.
Right. He was our dead-eye shooter, and then it kind of went off the rails a little bit. But if I'm going to get if they're going to start developing players, and you see this, their first dude did that for a while, I can't wait to see what other players they develop and what they turn into.
No, you bring up a good point. I guess I'll conclude with this: is with Ayo Dosunmu being, one of their first. Again, we've had limited picks since Arturas came and took over the Bulls. I think Pat Will and Ayo are his only 2 picks.
Yep.
And seeing how Ayo came into the league last year and seeing how he finished, I believe he was second team all rookie in the final votings. So that's a good sign. It's a sign in the right direction, and hopefully we get more of that, more players like Ayo. Because again, Ayo, he was graded as a first round talent, but he fell to the second round. So I mean, if we can get more of that, hey, I'm all on board. I'd say keep P. Will, keep the consistency, keep the continuity with this squad, and let's run it back.
Let's not forget about Ayo. People forget Ayo could have come out after his sophomore year. He decided to go back, and I think that was the best decision he ever made. For me, especially in college basketball, unless the guy's a huge talent, but even then I have to look at it. But give me a guy who stayed at least 3 years in college. And I know the superstars don't, because they want that money, but hopefully the NIL deals can kind of balance that out, because here's what I want. When you start getting guys who stay 3 years, the fundamentals that they have, the knowledge of the game that they gain in college is priceless, which is why you see so oftentimes you'll see a mid-major or a small school in the NCAA tournament upsetting a Kansas, a North Carolina, a Kentucky, one of the blue blood programs. Like, how they got 5 blue chips on their team? Why? Because you have guys who've been in this offense that they're facing for years. You have senior, juniors, and seniors who run their offense to perfection. And it's not about the players; it's about the scheme. And most offenses they'll work as long as you got guys who run it properly, and you need guys to run it properly. So good guard play, juniors and senior guards. That's what it is, and that's what I talked about. Patrick Williams, he should only be a senior this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, give him some time. He's not going anywhere. I'm not having him go anywhere, but let's not forget that these guys need time to develop when they're coming in at 19. He's 20. He'll be 21 for the season. These kids are young.
Yeah.
These kids are real young. So, I love what they're doing. Now you just got to keep doing it. Now you got a big move. You got a big move for this offseason is going to be big for the Bulls and Acme.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a huge year. Big offseason, big season coming up. I mean, a lot's going to be determined with this kind of core if we can go forward with it or if not, if maybe this is going to be a wash. So a lot of big things coming up for the Bulls.
Yeah. Listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little Bears. They released their schedule. One Bear is out for the season. It's always drama town up there. Always.
Something's always going wrong up at Hallis.
What's man.
New? What's new?
Yeah, literally. What is new? Because that's crazy. Nothing ever goes easy. We can never fly under the radar and have a smooth off season like the Pittsburgh Steelers or somebody or the
Hey, the Steelers, they've had a lot of drama too, off the field, granted.
Well, recently, yes. You got the Ben Roethlisberger thing. You got the
the Dwayne Haskins earlier in the summer, yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I couldn't remember that one.
So no, I get what you mean though.
But yeah, they're an organization that doesn't they kind of stay under the radar. They're not too.
Yeah, just keep your head down, work, and
then stay out of trouble. Don't get arrested. Don't beat up your girlfriend. Don't. They don't have a lot of issues like that unless you're Big Ben. We won't go there. We won't go there. But so we're talking this Bears season on the other side of the break, guys. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JCoyneReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My feature stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Irvin. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out JCoyneReports.com and follow me on Twitter at JCoyne.
Hi, this is George Iceman Gervin. I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
1-2, a 1-2.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago on this hump day, this house music Wednesday edition of Shawn and Maya in the morning. It's yesterday's game. Sox game was so fun. It was hot. Oh my gosh! Let me just tell you, we were tailgating for a little bit. I had a couple drinks, and then I made the rookie mistake of I didn't get to eat. I was doing stuff here at the house, and I didn't get a chance. And I had been up since 4 with CrossFit. Kick-ass workout yesterday. I didn't get a nap, and I was running around doing stuff here before I left, and then I didn't get a chance to eat. So yeah,
It's a rookie mistake.
And I was trying to figure something out, and I'm like, oh, we can eat. So yesterday was a little different with the tailgate. So usually for a tailgate, we'll have my buddy's called Hirsch. His name is Hirsch. It's his nickname. So we'll have Hirsch outing. So we're all usually in the same area. We have DJs. People bring food and stuff like that. We used to get a taco maker until the White Sox banned that starting this year. I was like, dude, that's horrible. Why would you ban taco makers? But I digress. So I was like, okay, so his last one was the Cubs Sox crosstown. It's like, all right. And again, he had the DJs, we had a whole bunch of people brought food, and they're like, oh, hey, help yourself, whatever. So this one, I was a little different. I'm like, how is it going to be? Is everyone going to be in the same area like we were before? Because the house music DJs are going to be somewhere else. They're not going to be here. So are we going to have DJs because they got house music DJs over there? And I was trying to figure that out. I was trying to figure out what it was going to be. And as I was thinking it out, I'm like, yeah, we're not all going to be together in this group like we were before. We're not all going to be, everyone's going to be over by the house music DJs. And yeah. And so I didn't get a chance to eat, and it hurt me. It hurt me. And then, as soon as I got in the park, now mind you, I had a few libations before we got in the park, just me. As soon as we got in the park, we walked up. First thing I did, man, saw a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
Give me that $8 slice of pizza, damn it.
Jeez, yeah, no, that's how they get you right there, man. Like you go just to get like a pizza, beer, maybe like a water bottle, and like close to $30 or something like that by the time you're done.
Dude, the water was $7. A bottle of water was $7 fucking dollars, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, hey, getting out to the baseball game this summer, tickets are really affordable this summer, but the prices for food and drinks, that's
parking's $27.
Uh,
Luckily, I went with a guy and he paid for it. But man,
is that okay? So is that like within like those lots though, or is those like okay? Well, for the peace of mind and for like the ease of getting out, I'm okay paying that.
Yeah, I hear you, but it's still an expense. It's still $20 before
No, yeah, that's still a lot of money.
Which is why we love the tailgate, man, because we like to go in. Let's just say we're feeling nice before we get into the stadium. We're feeling kind of nice.
Yeah, I know you're feeling yourself, man.
And it was hot. Dude, the heat. I didn't even have a hat on yesterday because I knew I'd sweat through any hat that I wore. So I just had a towel. So I carried a towel with me just to wipe my sweat. I just had the towel on top of my head.
That's a pro move right there.
Man, dude. And
when I was watching the game last night, I guess you just kind of confirmed it, but when I was like watching, like if you watch any baseball game, like you usually look out to the crowd. Everyone looked miserable there, like in dealing with the heat. Not like the game, but like just dealing with the weather. Everyone looked hot, sweaty, just uncomfortable. Glad I didn't go to that game, at least for the weather.
In the first part, so we were in the left field stands. And the way the stadium is set up, if you're in left field looking at home plate, the sun's in your face because that's the west side of you're facing the west side of the park.
Right.
And so part of the stadium is still in the sun. And again, it was 100 degrees yesterday. I wore my white pinstripe jersey, but it was like open. I had a compression tank top underneath, just because I knew I'd be sweating. And when the sun finally set behind the stadium, the temperature dropped a good 15 degrees, which still puts it at 85, but it's better than 100. But
yeah,
it was
better than close to the hundreds. Yeah,
it was a good time. But you know what? What else is a good time? Our Bears. All right, they are on hiatus right now, and what they did do yesterday is they released a schedule. I talked about it in the top of the morning segment, and I talked about it. The schedule is here. The training camp schedule is here. July 24th they start, and you see the open practices. By open, for those of you who don't know what that means that you're able to go. The fans are able to go see them. So the 28th, 29th, and 30th of July, August 2nd and 3rd, 2, 3, and 5, August the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and the 15th and the 20th. But they're also going to have Family Fest at Soldier Field, which I think is great. As I talked about, I don't know how much that's going to cost. Before it used to be $5. I think with the inflation and everything, and they're trying to get a new stadium over in Arlington, it'll probably be $10 a person, $10 a head. But that's cool. You're in Soldier Field, you get to see these guys. It's a really good time. So if you're a big Bear fan, see, I was upset. I don't know about you, but I was so upset when they did away with Bourbonnais.
Yeah, no, for me, like I've never actually gone out to like a summer practice. I've never been to Hallis, never been to Bourbonnais. So for me, I guess I can't really relate to that. But I know it's a classic, spot for the Bears in summer camp. So
Yes, Bourbonnais was awesome.
But when you got a facility like Hallis Hall, I mean, like, come on, really?
Here's why I'm not a big fan of it. When you went to Bourbonnais, it was an experience. All right, Bourbonnais is a small town.
Yeah.
Not too far. You said you're in Joliet, about that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not too far from you. I'm in Orland, so it's literally a 20-minute drive down 57. All right, you're transported. It's a little town. You have bars, restaurants, shopping. The intimacy with which you're there made the experience. Okay, so like there were times that Cutler was like literally 15 feet away from me. You got kids, hey Jay, you know what I mean? Yeah, Matt Forte, Kyle Long, what's up? Literally within shouting distance of you. Right? They had, on their way back to the locker room, they had a section along the fence where first adults used to ask for autographs, then they made it a kids section, which I think it's fine. That's cool.
No, it's smart, yeah.
And it was really dope. And at Hallis Hall, it's just, it doesn't have that same personal feel. I met a lot of people, a lot of writers, and knew they'd make the trip up there. They'd stay, get an Airbnb up around there, or get a hotel room for a couple of days and stay and go see the team practice every day. It was just fun. And when I went to Hallis Hall, it was a lot more business-like as opposed to, and that's what bugged me, because of you don't get to meet the same people, the people. It's you don't want, hey, let's go grab a bite here, let's go grab a bite at this bar. Dude, we went to this one bar, I can't remember the name of it, but we went out, we ordered a burger, like, all right, they went out and cooked it in the outside because they had a grill going. I'm like, this is what I mean, like something small, simple, and we're sitting there throwing back beers. I made a lot of friends with different people who call my show, who are on the show. It was just different, and it just went really corporate. And I know why. A good friend of mine used to be in the scouting department, and he had told me why they left Bourbonnais early. But it's just frustrating, man. I don't know.
See, I do see where you're coming from, and I think, yeah, like you are definitely missing that sense of community that you got back in Bourbonnais. I know for me, like when I was down in Decatur, because my sister, she did attend Millikan University for a period of time. Decatur obviously is the home of the Decatur Staleys.
Staleys, yep.
So like you get that sense of history, you get that sense of culture and community, and that's something that you wouldn't quite get at Hallis Hall. So I do understand that perspective, and it makes sense. But again, you can't stay in the past always. You gotta improve, you gotta move on. And I think, again, the facilities at Hallis Hall, they're state of the art. They offer, I believe, more fans, I think, can come to these practices now. So I mean, you got to look at those positives too. Hopefully you can create a new sense of community there.
I don't know about more. When I was there,
is it less?
Yeah, I think it's less.
Ooh.
It's less. And
That's actually tough then.
and the thing that I was saying is like, okay, last year, because last year was the first year that they had it, I was like, why wouldn't you stay at Bourbonnais one more year? Okay. The reason I say is from a financial standpoint. Now, again, this is what I was told from a guy who's part of the organization, like that Bourbonnais, they didn't um, they didn't follow through on a lot of the things that they had agreed upon. Is what
I
the
see.
issue was. All right, so the Bears were getting fed up with Olivet Nazarene University didn't follow through. They said some stuff that they were going to do and they didn't do, and they got to that point. But I'm like, from a marketing standpoint, I'm like, okay, you just drafted Justin Fields. He is your quarterback of the future. Okay, I know Andy Dalton's our starter. That was how it was. But I'm like, if you to walk out of Olivet Nazarene, you had to pass the gift shop. It was literally next to the path to walk out the door, or you could walk out through the gift shop. I was like, if you want to sell you want to sell and make money, all you have to do is make one wall of Justin Fields jerseys. As you're walking in, walking out, you realize how many jerseys you're going to sell. And now you got Justin Fields literally within arm's reach. Hey, Justin. And I thought they might have missed the boat on that whole thing, and there's still places for kids to get autographs, but it's not nearly as cool and not nearly as accessible as it was at Bourbonnais. So that's what really bugged me about that, because it was, again, the sense of community, you're not just the fact that they I forgot how much what percentage they gave Bourbonnais of their annual revenue, because people are flocking down there. You got the hotel rooms, you got the bars, you got the restaurants, you got the shopping, everything that people came down there for the whole month for training camp, 3 weeks or whatever. And it in addition to that, it just made allow Bear fans to meet, allow Bear fans to become friends. And it gave you a closer, more intimate look at the Bears. And it's frustrating. Maybe they've done some more work, but from what I saw last year, there's no way that they're even close to the amount of the capacity that Bourbonnais had, because they had fields. You're up on the fields. They had stands.
Yeah.
In here, you only have stands on the in the end zones, like 4 stands, 5 little stands, and yeah, it seems like it's I'm not happy with that whole setup.
Well, hopefully, they can keep building up at Halisol. I know they just finished renovations like a couple of years ago, I think like during the pandemic. So hopefully they keep building it up and, they can make it a similar experience to what it was in Bourbonnais. But yeah, definitely that is disappointing to hear that it is less fans. And again, you're losing that closeness, that, tight-knit community. It sucks to see.
It does. But there's a lot that we're looking forward to, take that away. Just a real quick story. So we went to, we were out there a couple of years ago, and I met the guys from Windy City Gridiron there. I met a couple other guys, but all of them don't live in Chicago. So Lester lives here. Then you had EJ Snyder lives up in is he Denver? No, he's in the Pacific Northwest. EJ Snyder. Then you had Robert Schmitz, who lives down in Texas, and so they all flew in, to cover the Bear. Now they're meeting for the first time, basically, in person. So I got to meet them. And so, funny story. So I ran into a couple of dudes, other people obviously covering the Bears. And I'm like, man, where can I eat around here? And I was looking, and I found a Mexican restaurant. It was a Sunday, had a buffet, I was like, oh shit, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, we're going to go eat at this buffet. Like, who's going? I said, and I had met 2 other reporters. I can't remember who it was at the time. And then those guys from Windy City, and we're like, all right, cool. Oh, Zach Pearson from BearReport.com. I met him. And so I get to the place early. I go and I get there kind of early. It's like, let me just, I got to find it. And I go in and I'm like, oh, miss, I'm like, are you, I said, I have a situation. Like, we have like 15, 20 people coming. She was like, what? I was like, yeah. I said, we're in town. We're in Bourbonnais watching the Bears, and they're looking. I said, and, I saw and I found you online. I said, you had a buffet, and, great. She's like, oh my God, I don't know. We're not ready. And this and this. I'm like, well, you'll be fine. You better start making some food, some more food. They came in, poof, and these guys were like, "Oh my god, this is like the best Mexican food I've ever had." And the lady was extremely ecstatic, and she didn't give me my meal for free. I'm like, "What?" I was,
Come
I'm like,
on.
I just brought 20 people in here for you.
Yeah,
You,
no, she gotta hook you up, man.
you didn't even give me
Yeah.
10% off, 20%
You're
off.
working for free for them.
Man, but it was good. But see, stories like that is what I'm talking about. You know,
Yeah. See, that's nice too because again, you're seeing the direct impact of like helping those small businesses down in Bourbonnais. Like I think what like Halasal's in Lake Forest, I believe.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Lake Forest. I'm not sure. I mean, again, small business is small business. Like they need the support, but again, you just know that the
It's Lake
impact. And, like,
Forest.
yeah, like Lake Forest. There we go. Yeah, yeah,
It's Lake Forest.
yeah.
For
I mean,
those of you
come on.
who aren't in Chicago, just put it. Lake Forest is one of the most affluent towns. Michael Jordan used to live up close to Lake Forest. All right, let's just put it that way. It's
People are doing well in Lake Forest.
yeah. It's to say there were not too many people getting food stamps or link card up in Lake Forest. Not too many. All right, if any at all. So, but yeah, it's gonna be good. You know, I'm looking forward to going to a couple times. We're gonna see do our best to get some. We're gonna request media credentials to get up there a few more times, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the season. And one of my buddies, Junior, said, "I can't believe Fields with Adidas." I saw that. So like I'm a big Nike whore. So like I have a fictitious contract in my head with Nike, so I don't wear any other shoes but Nike, any gym shoes but Nike. I can't.
See,
I just
I'm kind of the same way. I definitely lean more towards Team Nike. I know as a kid, like growing up in like the early 2010s, mid 2010s, or yeah, early mid 2010s, Under Armour was like the big brand, like on the come up. For
Yeah.
me, you'll never see me wearing any piece of Under Armour branding, clothing, whatever. I do not rock with Under Armour at all. Adidas, every now and then, but yeah, I'm pretty much a Nike boy. So it did hurt to see Justin leave the Nike family, but hey, Adidas, they're doing some pretty good things on the football side as well.
Yeah, I was really hurt. I don't like their logo on the football end of it. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't like the three stripe doesn't look good on the toe. It's just a lot of going out because when people tape
it's a
the
little
shoe,
obnoxious.
yeah, it's too much for me. The Nike
Yeah,
swoosh on the toe is perfect. It's nice and slim and streamlined. It's the only thing I
yeah,
have of Under Armour, and this was from back in the turn of the century. I still have, and I know it's 20 years old. Is a pair of Under Armour tights, the warm gear,
yeah.
which those are phenomenal. And I have one Under Armour cold gear top. That's all I have from Under Armour, but that was from back in the day, and that's from a whole different. Only reason I have was because something else that we were involved in, but everything else is Nike. And I worked some Nike camps, so I got some Nike, hyper warm stuff and pants and tops and everything else. The only thing I have is like two Under Armour things, and I won't, if I wear them, you can't see. They don't have the logo on. They have it at the top by the hip.
Yeah.
So if I wear my tights underneath, you can't see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's just the shirt got the logo up here. That's it. But I try not to wear that too much because then my friends give me static. So it's crazy. But yeah, it's Justin Fields is now Adidas. You thought he'd stick with Nike coming out of Ohio State, and apparently Adidas went all in on him.
I was even seeing a comment too that like Adidas is like doing a really good job of recruiting the Bears, where I think it's like Eddie Jackson is Adidas.
Yep, Dave
Don't
Montgomery's
quote me on
Adidas.
this. I think Darnell Mooney might be Adidas. I think he might
No,
also. He's with
Adidas.
Nike. Robert Quinn I know is with Adidas. Eddie Jackson's with Adidas. I mean, a lot of the defensive guys are
Darnell,
with Adidas.
and then Dave Montgomery's with Adidas too.
Yeah, true. So I mean,
So-
again, a lot of the Bears, Adidas is doing really good with the Chicago Bears. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Not happy about it at all. I need to see Justin as Nike, and that hurts.
How would
That
you
hurts me.
feel? How would you feel if like Nike, like hypothetically, like Nike stops being the league's partner, and now we get Adidas uniforms next year? How are you feeling about that?
Well, first, it's not going to happen. I forgot how long the contract is, but
Yeah,
Nike's that's not going to happen.
I don't see again hypothetical.
I wouldn't like it that much. I had to deal with it, but
How'd you feel about Reebok back in the day?
I hated Reebok. I didn't like them.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know. The quality of the uniforms though were kind of nice.
Again, my contract with them, my fictitious contract with them goes back to high school. In college, we wore Converse my first 2 years, so I just taped up my shoe. And then my last 2 years, we got Nike, so sometimes I taped them up, sometimes didn't. And then what we used to do, this was stupid, this is crazy. We would draw because we weren't endorsed by Nike. We used to draw the swoosh on the shoe because you could kind of feel it a little on the, even though it's taped over, we spatted them. We still would. We were crazy college kids, man. It was nuts.
Hey.
It was nuts.
Yeah,
But yeah,
what
was funny was when I was in as the head of security at Under Armour, when was in broadcast school in like 2015, and they were Under Armour. Remember, you were talking about how they're blowing up, and everybody was, that was a new thing.
Yeah.
Steph was on board, and Cam Newton was on board, and Tom Brady was on board. And they were really hyped about them getting the major league contract in 2018, 2019. They were fired up about them getting the contract to be the official supplier of all Major League Baseball uniforms. And I was like, damn it. And then the way things happened, things panned out, and Under Armour said, you know what, we can't make that commitment. And dude, Nike jumped in. So Nike jumped in. They got football, they got basketball, and now they got baseball.
The monopoly. It's just Nike like literally has like a borderline monopoly on like all major American sports.
Yeah, they do.
See, with baseball though, I will say I think Majestic was phenomenal. I think as the MLB's uniform provider, I still miss those Majestic uniforms. But wasn't it like something like Majestic? I think the company like went under.
I'm not sure what happened to Majestic, and it might have been. I don't remember exactly what happened on those.
Around.
Oh no! So yeah, they were cool. They were good, but I'm glad Nike got them. I love.
You're just a Nike guy, man.
I am. I don't know why. Maybe I like the best. Like I'm a big Tom Brady fan, big Nike guy. So yeah, I don't know, but I love the fact that they're doing it, and don't blaspheme and say that the NFL is going to get. It was bad enough when they had Reebok uniforms. I was like, oh.
True. Okay, but here's how I viewed it. Reebok was kind of like a neutral brand where it's like if you had the Reebok jerseys, you could wear them like whatever other brand you want for like gloves and cleats. You know what I mean? So like if I'm wearing the Reebok, I can wear like Under Armour cleats one game, and then like the next game I can wear Nike cleats. That's how I've always viewed it when it was Reebok.
Well, no, because the way that goes, because Jerry Azuma was a friend of mine, and he used to tell me about it. Like you would get, if just whatever you're wearing, your jersey, it has nothing to do with you personally. So, if it's whoever sponsors it, you can wear whatever other brand. You can wear the shoes, the gloves. And he would tell me that there was a rep at every game. At every single game, there was a Nike rep with a check. And, so whatever your contract was with, like you wore X amount, you wore Nike and your contract was X amount, and then you get per game. He was there to make sure that, you wore Nike gloves, you wore Nike shoes. And at the end of the game, when you came off, he'd give you your check. So,
see, that's interesting. A little interesting. Like, what do you do for like a guy that like wears just Nike cleats and just Nike gloves, but then the guy that has like 7 Nike sweatbands going down his arm, like, does he get more money because he has more Nike branding? I wonder.
No, they'll get your contract is going to be what it is, and then you can wear as much. You know what I mean? The little.
Right, I mean that more.
It's mostly for. It's more for the gloves and the shoes.
Yeah,
that's
those are the big ones.
Yeah. So, man, 3 hours is come and gone. Unbelievable, guys. I want to thank my guest today for coming on, talking Cubs with us, Evan Altman. Great segment. If you missed it, make sure you go back and check it out. Phenomenal. If you're a Cub fan, you're going to want to listen. You're going to want to check it out. It was a great stuff. You're a Sox fan?
Yes, big Sox fan.
I knew I liked you for a reason.
You hired right.
But great, you Cubs, go check it out. Make sure once we post this, you're gonna want to go check it out. Great stuff with Evan. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 45-hour break. On the other side of the break, we'll see you on Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. We have a huge announcement, man. Huge announcement on Friday. We told you we're always forward, never back. All right, that's our motto here. Always forward, never back. And we have some big time news coming for Sports Zone Chicago. So we're excited to tell you guys about it. Have you guys spread the word. It's going to be real fun. But so make sure you tune in Friday, all right, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. Also, I want to thank my guy Cosme here for running the stuff back behind the scenes. excuse me. Definitely want to thank our executive producer, Elliot Baez, Clarence Council III, our social media guy, and my co-host in absentia, Maya Kai. All of us together, put together hopefully an entertaining show for you and your loved ones. So, like I said, on Friday, big announcement, but make sure before then you follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram we are at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter we are at Sports Zone Shy. All right. So for Elliot, for Clarence, for Maya, and for my boy Cosme, I'm your boy the Superback Sean Sierra. See you Friday. We got 2 more words for you. We out.